beautiful Monon Park on Boston Day as UMass Boston hosts Eastern Connecticut State University in a matchup of the defending LEC regular season champs and the defending LEC tournament champs. It should be a good one here from Monon Park. UMass Boston sits at 3-1 in conference play, winners of their last 5. Eastern Connecticut State, bit of a tailspin right now, 1-3 in conference. They lost their second conference game of the season, 16-7 after giving up 13 runs in the 9th inning, and ever since they have struggled. Losers of 5 of their past 7. My name is Seth Dorensky, bringing you all the action today here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. I'll be joined by my partner, Jose Pena, at some point this afternoon. And right now, as we move along in our pregame show, let's take a look at the all-time series. And just like the all-time series with almost every team with the exception of Eastern Connecticut State, of Southern Maine when it comes to Eastern Connecticut State. Eastern Connecticut State has dominated. Winners of 42 of 48. Today's matchups the 49th and 50th. The Warriors have won 4 in a row, 27-11 during that span, including a win back in the 2015 LEC tournament. The Beacons have won 2 in a row just once, looking to do that today, their first ever possible sweep. It'll be difficult, though, against an Eastern Connecticut State team that has quite a few players back from last year's LEC tournament championship, in which they won 4 consecutive games as the 5 seed. Just a dominant performance here at Monon Park. The team in 4 games had 15 doubles, 3 triples, and 6 home runs en route to slugging their way past UMass Dartmouth, Western Connecticut State, and the University of Southern Maine, a perfect 4-0 in tournament play. Last year's go-to player when it came to the regular season sweep of UMass Boston was Tim Budd, the all-conference first-team catcher who's not back this season, one of the few players who did not return for the Warriors. Bud went 2 for 7 but had 4 RBI, including the go-ahead RBI in both games, as Eastern won the first one 3-2, game number 2 7-3 at Eastern Stadium on Sunday, March 10th. It was an odd one, the second doubleheader in as many days for both teams. So neither team threw their aces. UMass Boston went with Fernando Burgos and Brian Kaufman. Eastern Connecticut State with Ron Buschetto and John Parker. Buschetto will likely pitch game number 2 in today's doubleheader. Take a look at our 4 things to know. We've already hinted at a couple of these. Defending champs on both sides. Teams picked first and second in the preseason poll. A big part of that, both teams returned 24 players after making it to the NCAA tournament a season ago. UMass Boston was picked first. They picked up 6 of the 8 overall first-place votes, 55 total points. Eastern with 2 first-place votes, 48 points, just ahead of the University of Southern Maine. The Beacons have won 5 in a row, including a doubleheader sweep last weekend over Rhode Island College. They outscored their opponents 37-13, and over their past 3 games have given up just 3 earned runs in victories over Salem State, Roger Williams, and Babson College. Eastern, one of 3 teams that are undefeated here at Monon Park. Roger Williams earned a single-game non-conference win over the Beacons last season. They'll be here on Monday. UMass Boston looking to scratch them off from the undefeated ranks. And then Emory College, a team out of Georgia, came up and played 4 games here against Brandeis University. It's part of a UAA regular season schedules. Brandeis's fields were not available that weekend, and Emory swept the judges 4-0. So just 3 teams that are undefeated here at Monon Park. UMass Boston looking to swipe off 2 of them over the next couple of days as Eastern comes in at 4-0, but has never played a game against UMass Boston. We talked about the LEC preseason poll. This is the Beacons LEC home opener. UMass Boston picked first after going 30-16 a year ago. Eastern, the Beacons won their first ever LEC regular season title a year ago, splitting it with the Southern Maine. Eastern picked second ahead of Southern Maine, who's a perfect 4-0 in conference play. Dartmouth picked 4th after finishing 4th a year ago, followed by the bottom 4 teams who have all struggled over the past couple of seasons in conference play. Our player to watch today is Dan Mantoni, and it's not just because of his great abilities at the plate, it's because he is going to be the Game 1 starter and will hit for himself. Mantoni, a 2-time All-Region utility player, 3-time All-Conference, player overall. He's in the midst of an 8-game hitting streak in which he's gone 11 for 31 with 8 doubles and 8 walks. So a pretty high on base percentage on top of his batting average, which is just over 333. In his career as a LEC pitcher over the past 3 seasons, 12 starts, 7-2. In 82 innings, he struck out 62 and had a 3.29 ERA. He's been dominant in his first 2 LEC starts of the year, winning both victories at UMass Dartmouth and then at Rhode Island College. In those 2 games, a combined 14 in the third innings, 9 hits, 2 earned runs, struck out 9 versus 3 walks. The Beacons hope he can do more of the same against a very talented Eastern Connecticut State team, especially at the plate. Speaking of Eastern Connecticut State at the plate, we'll take a look at their lineup. They return 7 of their 9 position players, but a couple of guys have worked their way into the lineup as first or second year players. One of those, Corey Baldwin, spent his freshman year at Endicott where he did not play. He's taken over the starting shortstop role from Christian Budzik, who moved from short to second and took over the starting job for Christian Funaro. And then the 3 Alexes, Alexander White, Alex Zachary, and Alex Parkos. Zachary, an All-American his season ago in his first year, transfer from Division II Mars Hill College in North Carolina. Alex Parkos was the LEC tournament MVP. The freshman DH, now third baseman for this Eastern team, was simply unstoppable. He absolutely crushed the ball here at Monin Park, going 10 of 18 with 12 RBI, 4 doubles, and 4 home runs, including a championship game in which the team defeated Western Connecticut State, going 5 for 5 with 3 runs, 7 RBI, 2 doubles, and 2 home runs. Just a dominant performance from the Connecticut native. They'll continue on in the lineup. Pat Sorois, John Masagno, who leads the team, a freshman who will be in the DH spot. He's also played some left, splitting time with Alexander White. DJ Scavone, the talented first baseman, Christian Budzik, and Jake LaFave has, for the moment, taken over the starting catching job. LaFave leads the team with his 15 appearances and 10 starts at catcher. He split time with Merlin Herrera. Take a look at the Beacons defensively. A couple changes from their midweek games. Sal Fershino has moved back into the starting center field job where he spent all of last season and most of this year. He had come off the bench the past couple games. Danny Brown moves from center to second. Eddie Riley out of the lineup, at least to start today. Normal left fielder and right fielder, McCormick and Herzog. And then Boudris, Hughie, Brown, and Fowler around the infield. Anthony Searles, the second team all-conference catcher behind the plate. And Tony, as we mentioned, on the mound. Right now, we will take a break for the starting lineups of the national anthem, and then we'll be back with the first pitch as UMass Boston Eastern Connecticut State, the defending LEC tournament champs and the LEC regular season champs, about to get underway on what is one of the nicest days we've had all spring here at Monin Park.
UMass Boston is my first choice because of the incredible theater department.
Because it has an excellent honors college.
Because here I get to interact with professors one-on-one.
Because I'm not going to be crazy in debt when I graduate.
Because at UMass Boston, I've met professors who have changed my life.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
Make the University of Massachusetts Boston your first choice. Visit umb.edu/first choice.
See the numbers on Dan Mantoni this year. Perfect 2-0, both wins in conference, 3.00 ERA, although much lower in conference play. 26 strikeouts versus 13 walks. The Northbridge native looking for his third consecutive win to start conference play. He'll also be the DH in this one. Corey Baldwin, the first of a number of left-handed hitters in this Eastern Connecticut State lineup, will lead off. Baldwin, the sophomore out of Cromwell, Connecticut. Cromwell has produced quite a few Eastern Connecticut State players. As Baldwin will take the first pitch outside, a fastball that misses for ball one. He didn't play in the team's first 3 games, but has started 15 of the last 16, hit safely in 10 of those 16 games, including a 4-for-4 game on Monday and a 10-1 loss to Roger Williams. Heading the count at 2-0 as he faces off against the Beacons senior captain, third-year captain out of Northbridge, Dan Mantoni. Another fastball. This time it catches the corner. 2-1 to the leadoff hitter. Baldwin, 6', 180, now 2-2. He's taken over the starting job from Christian Budzik, at least the starting shortstop job. Budzik has moved over to second base and is having a career year, hitting .333. 2-2 pitch, fouled off. First ball in play today, and that one will end up in the, what is today a lacrosse field for BC High Lacrosse, a field that the Beacons lacrosse team and soccer teams use as well. For the Beacons defensively, McCormick, Frashino, and Herzog around the outfield. So the 2-2 pitch is hit softly out towards second base over the head of Brown, who misplayed it, and that'll get into right field for a lead-off base runner. So good work there from Baldwin, as Brown, typically an outfielder. He's been playing second base with Josh Lopez struggling with an injury, and right there it cost the Beacons, as should have been caught, and instead there's a leadoff base runner for the 2-hole hitter, Alexander White. This could be the guy that Eastern would bunt, as Alexander White has struggled at the plate. First pitch is low for ball one. C. White, who started last season as a freshman the majority of the games. Throw over to first. Not quite in time to get Baldwin. Corey on the season, 1 for 2 on the base pass. Eastern an efficient 22 of 27. Another throw over, not in time. Still 0-1 to Alexander White, the left fielder. Make it 1-1. Mantoni misses inside. White, a sophomore out of West Hartford, Connecticut, attended Conard High School, 6 foot 200. The right-hander played football, baseball, and indoor track in high school. Started 41 games a year ago, hit .248 with 30 runs scored and 28 RBI. He's been splitting time with John Masagno, who's the DH. Swing and a miss there, 1-2, as he chased the pitch outside the zone. He's 4 for 23 in his last 7 games, hitting .224, the lowest among starters. But he does have 7 walks in those 7 games versus 3 strikeouts. 1-2 pitch, runner not going. Swung on and foul tipped. Searles couldn't quite get the glove there. So 1-2 to the 2-hole hitter after a leadoff base hit from Corey Baldwin, a soft flare over the head of Danny Brown at second. For the Beacons around the infield, Kyle Boudris, Charlie Hughey, Danny Brown, and Chris Fowler. Anthony Searles, the Connecticut native, behind the plate with Dan Mantoni, their senior ace, on the mound, looking to get through this first inning unscathed. 1-2 pitch coming to White. And White able to hold back on that high fastball right at the hands, 2-2. UMass Boston has won 5 in a row, looking to make it 6. Eastern's lost 5 of their past 7, as there's another throw over, not in time. Eastern, though, has only lost 1 in a row, a 14-7 loss on Thursday to Amherst College. The Beacons, on the other side, came back from an early 5-1 deficit to defeat Babson 12-7. Antonio long look, the 2-2 pitch, runner takes off, it's fouled off, and he'll have to head back to first, as that one will end up in the future site of a parking garage just along the right field line. A lot of construction going on campus. The first ever UMass Boston on-campus dorms going up slowly to our right, along with a new parking garage that will be accessible to the baseball field and the campus. We'll do the 2-2 again. Runner doesn't go this time, and the count runs full as Mantoni misses up and in. The runner at first is Baldwin. He flared one over the head of Brown at second for a leadoff base hit. Runner takes off, 3-2 pitch high and in, and Mantoni has given up a single and a full count walk to put 2 on with no outs, and now the heart of this Eastern order.
The center fielder, number 3, Alex Zachary.
Bring up Alex Zachary, the All-American from a year ago. Spent 2 years at D2 Mars Hill College before transferring back to his home state, where he had a great first year. Tremendous 5-tool player for Eastern Connecticut State. Has great pop, great defensive plays. That one's flared through the right side. They're going to send the runner Baldwin, picked up by Herzog. He'll throw it to Fowler. And there's runners at the corners, and Eastern leads 1-0 early on, as Mantoni has struggled with the control a bit, and a couple of softly hit singles have done the Beacons in just a bit as well. It's 1-0 Eastern here in the top of the first.
The third baseman, number 28, Alex Parkos.
Bring up Alex Parkos, who absolutely hit the cover off the ball a year ago here at Monon. Didn't play at Monon during the regular season, but in the LEC tournament, 10 for 18, including 4 doubles and 4 home runs. It was almost as if that this first-year field had been built for Parkos, as the big freshman DH dominated. Now as a sophomore, getting the start today at third base as Chad Adams graduated a year ago. Sophomore out of Meriden, Connecticut, hitting .356. Takes that pitch, almost hit him, and the runner will take second base going on the pitch. Beacons really expect to see Mantoni go 6 or 7, but right now he has himself in a world of trouble. Already down 1-0, 2 runners in scoring position, and he's been struggling with his control. Already given up the 1 walk, has worked behind. That ball's chopped softly foul. Boudris will pick it up in foul territory. Wonder how much that first softly hit single got into his head a little bit, as Brown should have been able to catch it, but instead of immediately tracking backwards, stood his ground before recognizing it was over his head a little bit too late. The runner at third is White. He worked a full count walk. Zachary moved up to second with the stolen base. He hit an RBI single, and Mantoni misses in again. 2-1. Not what you want to see against a tremendous hitting team. The Beacons have dominated in the pitching category this year. A team ERA of 2.97. That's the best in the conference by 1.18 runs per game. The next closest, UMass Dartmouth at 4.15. Problem is the Beacons' bats haven't necessarily been very strong. They're dead last in the conference in batting average at .259, 14 points behind Keene State College, who's the worst team in the conference with a record of 7-15. Breaking ball misses 2-2, as Mantoni was desperately hoping for a strikeout there. Instead, Parkos able to hold off, and the count runs to 3-2 now for the cleanup hitter and third baseman with 2 on and no outs. First base is open. Pat Royce isn't an easy out either. The right fielder due up next. 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. A huge strikeout for Dan Mantoni. For Mantoni, you'd love to keep this to 1 run, maybe 2. So it'll bring up Pat Royce, the senior right fielder.
The right fielder, number 6, Pat Royce.
1 down, 2 on, 1 run already in. And it brings Royce, the senior out of Cromwell, Connecticut. Spent his freshman year at D1 Central Connecticut State. Played 45 games, starting 34. Since then, he's been with the Division III Eastern Connecticut State side as he fouls one off down the left field side, an inside-out swing. 0-1 to Royce, the right fielder, and 5-hole hitter. A year ago, Pat started all 42 games, hitting .329 with 54 hits, second on the team, 29 runs, and 15 RBI. He's had 8 multiple hit games this season, but went 0 against Amherst after having a 4-game hit streak. That one will be fouled back our way, and it's 0-2. And now our trusty graphics director, Julian Murphy, is here, and I can, well, try to do a little bit better job on the play-by-play. Multitasking never easy. 2 on, 1 out, an 0-2 count here to Royce. Mantoni's walked 1 and struck out 1, giving up a pair of softly hit singles on the right side. Beautiful day here at Mona with the wind blowing out. Breaking ball hits softly but foul. Eastern might have taken that one as it would have easily brought in the runner White from third. Royce, 6'2", 175, one of a number of Cromwell High School products, trying to drive in a second run. He'll take that pitch, bounces through Anthony Searles. Chance for a play at the plate. Searles isn't going to get there in time. And that's going to go down for a wild pitch to bring in White. And Zachary moves up to third after stealing second. So now he's at third, a 1-2 count. And you need possibly a pop-up, a short fly, or a strikeout here against Royce to keep it at 2. As Eastern has to be happy getting 2 runs against Mantoni, who had given up just 2 runs in his first 14 1/3 innings of conference play. 1-2 pitch hit softly to short. Hughie's only play is to first. It's going to be a long throw. Doesn't even throw it. It's an infield single and an RBI for Royce. And the Beacons trail 3-0 here with just 1 out in the top of the first. First 3 hitters in the Eastern lineup, all reaching, all scoring, and now Royce is over there at first for John Masagno. The top hitter on this team, hitting .405, 15 of 37, 9 runs scored, 6 RBI. Just a quick throw over to first. It's close, but not in time. Masagno, an on-base percentage of .488, slugging percentage of .541 for the talented freshman out of Tappan, New York, attended St. Joseph Regional High School. Takes a fastball just above the belt for strike 1 on the inside half. Oh, and 1 here to Masagno with Royce over there at first base after an infield single. Swung on, and that one apparently caught a piece of the bat as it pops in and out of the glove of Searles. 0-2 here. Hasn't been hard hit balls that have caused Mantoni trouble in this inning. A softly hit pop-up into short right from Baldwin. Zachary had softly hit ball through the right side, and Royce an infield single to short. It's Masagno down in the count 0-2 with 1 down. Eastern with 3 hits and 1 walk for 3 runs scored. 0-2 pitch hit hard up the middle. That's the hardest hit ball of the inning, and it's going to put runners at first and third. Frashino has no chance, and Eastern in business once again. A hard hit single from John Masagno moves Royce all the way up to third base. And Mantoni's just trying to get out of the first. In his last 3 starts Suffolk University, at Dartmouth, at Rhode Island College. He'd given up a combined 4 earned runs. He's already given up 3 earned here with just 1 out in the top of the first. Daniel Gamble, the former UMass Boston reliever, and Beacon's pitching coach is going to come out and just try to settle down Mantoni. DJ Scavone, the big first baseman, about to step up. Scavone's got some pop on the year, hitting just under 300, 297, and started every game. 8 doubles and a home run, 12 RBI, sitting in the 7 hole here. This is not what we expected. Eastern, the team coming in struggling, but there's something about Monon Park where they've hit well. Remember, 4-0 last year, hitting a ton of extra base hits. They have just the 4 singles here in the first, but it's been enough. Eastern, in those 4 victories, scored 13 in a win over Southern Maine, 9 against UMass Dartmouth, 7 against Western Connecticut State, and 13 in the championship game against Western. So that comes out to close to 10 runs a game. Nine runs actually on the dot. 36 runs in 4 games last year in the LEC tournament. Bring back 7 of their 9 position players, and they have 3 here in the top of the first with 1 down. 2 runners on for DJ Scavone, who takes a fastball in the outside corner for strike 1. The runner at third is Soroyce. Had an RBI single to short on a softly hit ground ball. Moved up to third on Masagno's hard hit single through the middle. 2 on, 1 out, 3 runs in for the Eastern Connecticut State University Warriors, looking to get a big win in conference play between the 2 teams picked first and second. 0-1 pitch to Scavone, well outside. Eastern has used 4 singles, a walk, and a wild pitch to plate their first 3 runs. Scavone standing in the back of the batter's box, looking to drive in at least 1 run here. 1-1 with 1 down, and that one's well outside. Mantoni has struggled with his control today. He's had a lot of balls float into that left-hand batter's box, and he's clearly frustrated with himself. 2-1 with 1 down. 2-1 with 1 down to Scavone, this time on the inside corner. Ball thrown out to third, and Boudris does a great job to go up the ladder. That ball looked like it was heading towards left field. 2-2 with 1 out. The Beacons have been sloppy here early on. There easily could be 2 outs if not for an early miscue by Danny Brown, the outfielder turned second baseman, who didn't get a good read on the opening hit of the day. A single from Corey Baldwin that was floated out there into short right. 2-2 with 1 out. 2-1 to Scavone. Scavone swings and misses. A big second strikeout of the inning, and there's 2 down now for Christian Budzik. Budzik, the shortstop turned second baseman, is having a career year this season, hitting .333 as a team. Eastern just under the 300 mark at .298. Almost 40 points better than the Beacons, who hit .259. Budzik making his 17th start in 19 games. 17th in 20 games, excuse me. 15 of 45 with 11 runs scored, 1 double, and just the 5 RBI. Last year was the 9-0 hitter. Today he hits 8th. It's the first pitch to Christian. A little bit too far inside, 1-0. Budzik, 5'10", 180. And you guessed it, out of Cromwell, Connecticut. Another Cromwell High School product. That group won a state title a couple of years ago and have turned out quite a few Warriors. Pitch well outside the zone, 2-0. It's already 12-18. This game was supposed to start at 12, even if we started a couple minutes late. Oh, we started right at 12. So this has been a close to 20-minute half inning. 8th batter of the inning as Mantoni throws over to first once again. Beautiful day in Boston. Winds whipping a little bit from behind home plate. Could lead to some long balls potentially. The 2-0 pitch, runner takes off, fouled off, hit and run. This one could be trouble down the right field line, and it's going to be fair. That'll score at least one run. They're going to wave the runner from first base, and coming all the way around is Masagno. It's 5-0 Eastern on a softly hit double to right field, a 2 RBI double from Budzik.
The catcher, number 15, Jake Lefebvre.
With 2 outs, Masagno going the whole way, and Matt LeBranch able to send him from third base. So there's 5 runs in as Jake Lefebvre, the catcher, steps up to the plate. Nobody warming up yet for UMass Boston, but it's going to be a much shorter outing for Mantoni. Softly hit to second, Brown fields, but Eastern able to score 5 runs with 9 hitters stepping up to the plate. UMass Boston's bats are going to have to help out their starting pitcher as they trail 5-0 through half an inning.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Jordan Muchin has to be pretty happy. The sophomore steps in with a 5-0 lead before throwing his first pitch, and Muchin has been hot and cold this season. The sophomore, who was one of the top 2 pitchers a year ago for this Eastern Connecticut State team, has become the ace, 6'2", 215 out of West Hartford, Connecticut. You look at the numbers this year on Muchin. 2-2 in 5 starts, a 3.66 ERA with 1 complete game, 1 shutout, and 1 no-hitter. The 13th no-hitter in Eastern history, the 18th, one of 18 this year in Division III. He no-hit Plymouth State in a 10-0 inning win, in a rarity because Eastern scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th, so he got the final out and didn't necessarily know that he wasn't going to have to go out for another outing. A 13 strikeout affair against the Panthers. 32 innings of work, 34 hits, 19 runs, 13 earned. Struck out 30 versus 8 walks. A 266 opponent's batting average. So face off against the Beacons, top of the order. Ryan McCormick, Dan Mantoni, and Kyle Boudris. Beacons have scored 37 runs in their last 5 games, hitting .282 as a team during that span, well better than their .259 team batting average. They're going to have to score at least 6 to win today's game after Eastern scored 5 in the top of the first. 0-1 quickly to McCormick as Muchin misses high. It's mostly a 2-pitch kind of guy. Fastball, slider, the occasional changeup. It's 1-1 of the Beacons left fielder out of Rhode Island as he fouls that one off. McCormick behind the count 1-2. Ryan out of Cumberland, Rhode Island, attended LaSalle Academy. He's been starting out there in left field for the past 10 or so games on and off. Hits that one over to first. Scavone bobbles it, has plenty of time. And the first hitter in the bottom of the first is retired, 3U, to bring up Dan Mantoni. This is the part of the Beacons order that has been red hot. Mantoni, an 8-game hitting streak, followed by Kyle Boudris, an 11-game hitting streak, and Chris Fowler, a 15-game streak. Mantoni has reached in all 22 games this season, hit safely in 19 of them. And you know right now that he'd love to hit a 5-run homer. Not that that's possible, but frustrated on the mound. We'll see if he can take that frustration out a little bit here with the bat. Quickly 2-0 to Dan Mantoni. Dan on the year hitting .317, has started every game. 26 for 82, 14 runs and a league high 14 doubles. Hits that one hard out to center. Coming over and making the play is Alex Zachary for a quick second out. A hard hit ball, but stayed up long enough in left center for Zachary to range and make the play. Bring up Kyle Boudris, the sophomore third baseman out of Medford.
The third baseman, number 15, Kyle Boudris.
Attended Arlington Catholic High School. He has been a phenomenal hitter in his first 2 seasons for UMass Boston. Second team all-conference third baseman a year ago. Fourth in the league with his .414 batting average coming in today, making his 17th start, 18th appearance, takes it low. Missed most of the Beacons Florida trip due to a hamstring injury. 29 of 70, 12 runs scored, 13 RBI, and 9 doubles. Good for top 10 in the conference as he'll take another pitch outside, 3-0. Boudris closing in on his 100th hit as just a sophomore. The 3-0, and that one's well outside. So Muchin, after getting the first 2 hitters, issues a 2-out walk, and it'll bring up the Beacon's biggest power hitter. That's Chris Fowler. Nicknamed Big Red by his teammates, the Wheaton College transfer in his second year with the Beacons has hit a home run in 3 of his 4 conference games this year, running a team-high 15-game hit streak. First pitch to Fowler, well outside. Junior out of Barnstable, Massachusetts, has bulked up to 6'1", 195. Fowler has appeared in every game, started all but one, hitting .342, second on the team. 25 of 73, 13 runs scored, 5 doubles, a team high, 3 homers and 18 RBI. A runner on first in Boudris. 1-0 pitch, chop foul, just past the Beacons' first base coach. Looks like Daniel Gamble. Typically Kev Kelly. Beacons' third base coach is Bobby Barrett. 1-1 to Fowler, the Beacons' cleanup hitter, with the Beacons trailing by 5 in the bottom of the first. Boudris slides over, and it gets away from Scavone, but not far enough for any advance. Boudris is not a guy that you expect to steal a lot of bases. Is yet to attempt one this season, and after suffering a hamstring injury earlier on in the year, probably even less likely to go. 1-1 to Fowler, breaking ball outside, and that one's going to bounce foul, much to the chagrin of Muchin, as that could have been an easy third out. Fowler chasing a pitch outside the zone, and he'll get another one. The Beacons going with their home whites today with blue numbers, blue stirrups. The big change is the black helmets. I think this is the first time UMass Boston's worn the black helmets here at home this season. Didn't even know they had them. 1-2 with 2 down, and Fowler lines one right at Scavone. The Beacons retired in the first. We head to the second. We'll see if Mantoni can have better luck as he'll face the top of the order for the second time around, with Eastern leading 5-0.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Take a look right now at the LEC standings heading into today's action. Southern Maine tops in the conference 4-0 after sweeps of Eastern and Western Connecticut State. The Beacons and UMass Dartmouth both sit at 3-1. Those two teams split with each other. Last weekend, UMass Boston swept Rick. UMass Dartmouth swept Keene. Plymouth stayed at 2-2 after a split with Eastern Connecticut State the first weekend, and then 4 teams tied at 1-3 at the bottom. We'll bring you updates from around the rest of the conference. All 4 conference doubleheaders today starting at noon. Rhode Island College is at Southern Maine, UMass Dartmouth at Plymouth State, and Western Connecticut State at Keene State. Corey Baldwin will step up for the second time today. Dan Mantoni, a rough first inning, threw 40 pitches, allowed 5 hits, a walk, and 5 runs scored. Gets that one in on the fists of Baldwin, who fouls it off for strike 1. Corey on the season, making his 16th start, hitting .293, 17 of 58 with 11 runs scored. Takes a breaking ball in the outside half, 0-2. 3 doubles, a triple, 10 RBI. 11 walks versus 6 strikeouts. 0-2 pitch. That one's hit out to short left. McCormick coming in on it, has plenty of time, fights the sun, and makes the play. So Mantoni, after allowing the first 3 runners to reach in the first, a 3-pitch at bat there, and 1 out. Mantoni needed 9 batters in the first inning to get the first 3 outs. It'll bring up Alexander White, who worked a 3-2 walk and then came in to score on Pat Soroyce's infield single. He's ahead in the count 1-0. White still struggling with the bat, just .224. His 20th appearance, 18th start. Hits that ball hard out to left. That could be a wall ball. McCormick looking back, and that ball is gone. Alexander White crushes one. His second home run of the season. That's the team lead. They have just 4 on the year, and White has made this a 6-0 ball game. Eastern last season had a ton of power. DJ Scavone alone hit 10 home runs, but they've struggled this season. That might not be the case as we go forward, as White crushed that one over the monster to make it 6-0. First extra base hit of the game for White, just the second of the day, as Christian Budsig had a softly hit double down the right field line. In the first inning of the 5 hits Mantoni gave up, only 1 was hard hit, the single from Masagno, but that ball from White was crushed out to left, maybe aided a bit by the wind to push the lead to 6-0. The last thing Mantoni wanted to see is he wanted a quick 1-2-3 inning. 1-1 here, bounces up there to Zachary, 2-1. Zachary had a softly hit single through the right side that scored Corey Baldwin in the first and stole second, reached third on a wild pitch, and came in to score on a Soroy single. 2-1 pitch, foul back to the stop, 2-2. Eastern looking good. After a couple of tough losses the past couple weeks, their lone wins at a conference against Bridgewater State and Suffolk. Already scored 6 runs in the first inning and a third as Mantoni's slider bounces up there, 3-2. UMass Boston already warming up Joe McGuire, one of their better relievers, as that one's fouled off. McGuire went 3 innings, giving up 1 hit against Roger Williams on Wednesday. It'd be the first time the Beacons had used a reliever not named Bobby Tremendozzi, Brian Kaufman, or Chris Monroe in conference play, as Mantoni issues another walk, his second of the day, versus the 2 strikeouts. And there's a runner on first, 1 run already in here in the second for the big third baseman Alex Parkos, who struck out swinging in the first. Parkos still hitting over 500 here at Monon, 10 of 19. First pitch to Alex. That ball's hit out to center. Going back on it is Frashino. This one has a chance to go, and it is off the top of the wall, just underneath the yellow tape, and it's going to keep both runners at second and third. That ball was hit so hard that the runner Zachary had to wait, and that one missed being a home run by maybe a foot, as Parkos has now had 5 doubles in 5 games here at Monon Park. This is not the Dan Mantoni we're used to seeing, and Eastern Connecticut State is dominating. Already 6 runs, 5 in the first, 1 here in the second, and Pat Soroy steps up in a similar spot. Runner in scoring position. Chance to extend the lead as Anthony Searles, the Beacons senior catcher and senior captain, comes out to talk to Dan Mantoni, the Beacons' senior pitcher and senior captain. Rest of the infield coming in. UMass Boston will try to keep it to 6-0. Beacons pitching has been so good in their 5-game win streak. Just 13 runs allowed in 5 games. 8 in their past 3, with most of those unearned against Babson College the other day. But now the infield forced to come in with 2 on and 1 out. Pitch is well outside to Pat Royce for ball 1. 6 runs on 7 hits and no errors for Eastern. UMass Boston, no runs, no hits, no errors. We're in the top of the second. Eastern with 5 in the first. Already 1 here in the second on the Alexander White home run, as that one comes too far inside, 2-0 to Soroyce. Mantoni got the leadoff batter in the second on a fly out to left. That was Baldwin, but then gave up a solo shot to left, a walk to Alex Zachary on a full count, and then a double to the wall in center, and this might be it. Brendan Eigerbrough coming out to talk to Mantoni, who will stay in the game as the DH, but this has easily been his worst start of the year, and I don't think the Beacons are willing to risk giving up too much more, as Mantoni has a chat with Eigerbrough. The Beacons are already down one of their starting LEC pitchers, as JT Morin, who was a starter last year as a freshman and started the first game. UMass Dartmouth only went an inning and 2/3. He's down with an oblique injury, could be done for the year. Matt Tully will start in game number 2, the Virginia Tech transfer. Mantoni will stay in after having a chat with the infield and Brendan Eigerbrough. 2-0. Runners at second and third. White worked a walk, or Zachary worked a walk. Moved to third on the double from Parkos that was just under the yellow tape out there in deep center. 2-0 pitch, hit out to left. If that's fair, it's trouble. It's going to be another double. 2 runs will score. Parkos read it perfectly, and Pat Soroyce has made this game an 8-0 Eastern lead. Another ball that wasn't necessarily hit that hard, but hit to the right spot down the left field line. McCormick had no chance. And it brings in Zachary and Parkos. 3 runs in on the inning. It's a 9-0 Eastern lead. If you're unfamiliar, there is a mercy rule in conference play, only conference play. 10 runs over 7 innings. Now, so much time left in this game. So it's actually 8-0. It's up on the scoreboard wrong there. Got me a little bit confused. 3 runs in on the inning. Runner at second is Soroyce after the 2-run double. John Masagno had a single and a run scored. McGuire continues to warm out there in the Beacons' home bullpen out in right center. Sounds like from the walkie-talkies going on in our press box that McGuire might be ready. This ball's hit hard, but right at Boudris. Fields throws, will keep the runner at second. A big second out. Mantoni looks to get through his second inning of work. 2 down. Soroyce stays at second and brings up DJ Scavone, who struck out swinging in the first.
The first baseman, number 24.
One of 2 strikeouts Mantoni has gotten. Eastern in this game, 8 runs, 8 hits. 3 of their hits have been doubles and 1 home run. First pitch to Scavone, fouled back to the stop, 0-1. Not the kind of start UMass Boston was hoping for. Probably an even better start than Matt LeBranch, the 4th-year head coach, could have hoped for against Mantoni. It's the 0-1 pitch, breaking ball, stopped by Searles, 1-1. I think you'd have to go back to Mantoni's first LEC start against the University of Southern Maine as a freshman, a midweek start, for the last time he's given up more than 4 runs in a conference game. At least 4 earned, as the 1-1 is fouled off, 1-2. Watch out if you're one of those lacrosse players on the field to our left. Scavone's got great pop. Mantoni just hoping he can get the strikeout or a soft little out and get through the second. He had 40 pitches in the first, had quite a few more here in the second, and he's just not at his normal stuff. 65 pitches. Might get the pull after this batter, this inning either way, as McGuire is ready, and 8 runs is enough of a hill to climb. Don't want to make it 9 or 10. As that one's hit softly out to center, coming in is Frashino, and DJ Scavone is 0 for 2, but Eastern tacks on 3 more runs, a home run, a pair of doubles, and a walk. It's 8-0 Eastern through an inning and a half.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny, nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
UMass Boston will bring 5, 6, 7 to the plate here in the bottom of the second inning, looking to get some runs back against Jordan Muchin and Eastern Connecticut State as they lead 8-0 through an inning and a half. If you're wondering, oh man, Tony must have had a lot of history with Eastern. Maybe they're just used to seeing him. This is only the second time Mantoni has ever pitched against Eastern, and the first time they roughed him up as well. As a sophomore at Campanelli Stadium, he went 5 1/3, 7 hits, 7 runs, 7 earned, 6 strikeouts versus 3 walks, but that was 7 runs in 5 1/3, including a 7-run 6th inning, so he couldn't get through that inning. The first 5, he was nearly perfect against Eastern, as the Beacons held a 4-0 lead through 5, and then Eastern got to him for 7 runs in the 6th in a 12-5 win. Herzog takes it looking, and it's Jordan Muchin's first strikeout. Muchin's got to be pretty happy. He's the beneficiary of these struggles from Mantoni. 2-2 on the year. Easily could move to 3-2 the way that his Beacons counterpart is pitching, as Danny Brown takes the first pitch and pops it foul. Brown, the freshman outfielder who's been playing at second base with Josh Lopez out with an injury. Lopez is available today, but maybe not quite ready enough to get the start, as the 0-1 to Brown is a little bit high from Muchin. Danny, a freshman out of Hudson, New Hampshire, attended UMass Amherst first semester before transferring. Danny was a 4-time All-State player in New Hampshire. Was also, as he hits it over to Scavone, and an easy play for the first baseman for the second out of the inning. Brown, his junior year on the football team, had the highest completion percentage in the state of New Hampshire. So there's 2 down, and Anthony Searles will step to the plate. The Beacons have had just 1 base runner thus far, a 4-pitch walk to Kyle Boudris in the first. So Anthony Searles steps up, second-team all-conference catcher a year ago out of Shelton, Connecticut. Searles wore 3 his first 3 years, has moved to 13, attended Notre Dame Catholic High School. 1-1 to the Beacons senior catcher, who has struggled at the plate mightily this season. Searles comes in hitting 135, has started every game. Takes a breaking ball high, 2-1. Searles 10 of 74 with 16 runs scored. Takes that one just off the corner, 3-1. He does lead the Little East with his 19 walks, but also towards the top of the conference with his 28 strikeouts as the count runs full, swinging and missing in an outside fastball. picked off 10 runners and threw out 8 more, providing good production behind the plate, but his bat has not necessarily been there. 3-2 pitch to Searle, swung on and missed. Second strikeout of the inning for Muchin, and Eastern Connecticut State cruising through 2. UMass Boston trails 8-0 through a pair here at Monin Park.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, then I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
New pitcher for UMass Boston is the sophomore right-hander Joe McGuire. McGuire has seen a boost in confidence this year, both for himself on the mound and from head coach Brendan Eigerbolt. 6'2", 190. Out of Peabody, Mass. Attended Peabody Veterans Memorial High School alongside the Beacons closer Bobby Tremendozzi. McGuire, as a sophomore, 2.31 ERA in 6 appearances, a 1-1 record, 11 2/3 innings, 11 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 8 strikeouts, no walks. Earned the save on Wednesday by pitching the final 3 innings, allowing just the 1 hit in the win over Roger Williams, the Beacons' first shutout win of the season. McGuire has held opponents to hitting at a 250 mark. He gets the benefit of facing off against 8-9-1 as Eastern scored 5 in the first, had all 9 batters reach, 3 in the second with 7 of the 9 batters stepping to the plate. And Christian Budzik, who hit a soft 2-run double, out to right field, right down the line, steps up for the second time. 1-0 pitch to Budzik is well outside as McGuire seems to have inherited some of the wildness that Mantoni had. Mantoni was missing with a lot of pitches that tailed into the right-handed batter's box. McGuire seems to be missing towards the other's batter's box as that one is down and away, 3-0. McGuire is yet to walk a batter this season, but the Beacons have issued a pair of free passes through the first 2 innings. So that one's in there for a strike. Final line on Mantoni. 2 innings, his shortest of the year. 8 hits, 8 runs, 8 earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. And he's in line for the loss as that one is flared down the right field line. Budzik is going to have this one caught. A great running effort from Herzog for the first out of the inning. And that's a good sign for McGuire, working from behind. Started the at-bat 3-0. Got the 3-0 strike and then able to get Budzik to hit that one in the air long enough for Herzog to track it down as Budzik has gone the opposite way in each of his first 2 at-bats. It'll bring Jake LaFave, the freshman catcher, to the plate. 0 for 1 with the ground out to second to end the first. Takes a breaking ball that drops just in front of his feet. 1-0. Fave hitting .250 on the year, 7 for 28 with 8 runs scored. So that pitch is on the inside corner, 1-1. LaFave and Merlin Herrera, the junior out of the Dominican Republic, have split time after all-conference catcher Tim Budd, first-team all-conference catcher a year ago, graduated. Takes a huge hack and misses 1-2 now to LaFave. He apparently went according to our home plate umpire. Searles will throw down to first. And Joe McGuire has his first strikeout. Goes down as a 2-3 putout. And LaFave is retired for the second time today. Bring up Corey Baldwin. 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored. He flew out to left to start the second inning. Mantoni was able to get the first out before giving up home run, walk, double, double. Eastern 5 in the first, 3 in the second. Ending Dan Mantoni's day on the mound, although he will stay in as the DH. McGuire misses well outside, 1-1. Now to the leadoff hitter, Baldwin. Baldwin, the DH Masagno, and the catcher LaFave, the only players who were not in the starting lineup a year ago when Eastern Connecticut State won the LEC tournament right here in Boston at Monon Park. On a perfect 4-0, defeated in-state rival Western Connecticut State a pair of times to earn the title. Fowler ranges to his left, makes the play, and Eastern's retired 1-2-3 in the third. UMass Boston needs to get some runs. Even a couple runs could mean something at this point. Down 9-0, just trying to get this game back into striking distance as the Beacons will bring up 8-9-1 in the bottom of the third.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Sal Frascino waiting to step into the box. The Beacons junior center fielder out of Shelton, Connecticut. Started every game last season, all but 2 of them in center field as he flares that one out into deep right center. Going over is Royce can't make the play, and it hits off the top of the wall. That's going to be a triple. Eastern Connecticut State unlucky there. If that ball hit the top of the wall and went over, it would have been a ground rule double. Instead, Frascino, who had come off the bench the past couple games, has a stand-up triple. And the Beacons have their first hit of the game as Royce just barely couldn't get there. Big triple from Frascino as he was hitting .231 coming in today. His first triple, the Beacons 7th on the year and 4th in their last 2 games. Bring up Charlie Hughey, the 3rd Connecticut native in the Beacons starting lineup. Hughey takes a slider on the outside corner. Hughey had a pair of triples on Thursday at Babson, tying the Beacons' single-game record with 2 triples in a single game. The 0-1 pitch flared out to right. Should be deep enough for a run to score. So Royce is under it. Frascino will tag. The throw's up the line, and Frascino easily beats it. So the Beacons get one back, a leadoff triple, and the sacrifice fly from Hughey. And it'll bring the top of the order up for the second time for UMass Boston. For Hughey, his 10th RBI of the year out of Sandy Hook, Connecticut. For Frascino, that's run number 12. And it'll bring up Ryan McCormick, who grounded out softly to the first baseman Scavone his first time up. Takes the first pitch fastball. So Muchin gives one back, but at this point, you just want to pitch to contact if you're Jordan Muchin. You got an 8-0 lead. It's the 3rd inning. As long as you can keep UMass Boston to 1 or 2 runs in the next couple half innings, you're going to still hold on to a sizable lead, especially because with Eastern's bats hitting the way they've done thus far today, the 8 runs could grow as well. 2-1 to McCormick, down and in. Bounces past the glove of LaFave. 3-1 count here to McCormick. We'll see if he gets the green light. Ryan hitting just .235 on the year. 12 starts, 17 total appearance, 8 for 34 with 4 runs scored. Swings and misses. 3-2 now. 2 doubles, 8 RBI. Has struck out 5 times and walked 5 as well. Hits that ball up, should be playable. Coming in is the left fielder. Center fielder Zachary calling for it and making the play. So after giving up the leadoff triple, Muchin is retired the next 2. And there's 2 down for the part of the Beacons order that has been hitting much better than the rest of the team. Mantoni, Boudris, and Fowler all riding hitting streaks of at least 8 in a row. During the 5-game hitting streak, this portion of the lineup, 27 of 61, 442 as a group with 12 runs scored, 12 RBI, 9 doubles, and a homer. Put that into comparison, the rest of the team has just 23 hits in those 5 games, which isn't bad, but these 3 alone have out-hit the other 6 guys in the lineup. Mantoni fouls it back 2-1. Dan is closing in on a couple of records. He's in the top 5 in program history with his 145 games, 2-1, breaking ball well outside. 3rd with his 183 hits, 4th with the 109 runs scored, 6th with the 104 RBI, and 3rd with 46 doubles. 3-1 to Mantoni is low, and he works the walk. So Muchin issues his 2nd free pass of the game, 1 to Boudris in the 1st, 1 to Mantoni, and it'll bring up Kyle Boudris, who's been red hot. Boudris on an 11-game hitting streak in which he's hitting over 5, just under 500, 23 of 47. 8 runs, 10 RBI, 6 doubles. He's had 6 straight multiple hit games. He hits that one out to left. Should be playable for White, playing at the wall, struggling with it. It makes the catch on the warning track as Alexander White made that one a little bit more difficult than maybe it needed to be. The Beacons get 1 back, but leave a runner on. We head to the 4th. Eastern 8, UMass Boston 1.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
You can see the skyline out there in foul territory on left field. Today's the 4th anniversary of the Boston Marathon bombing back in 2013. Mayor Marty Walsh has declared this Boston Day in memory of the 4 people who passed away, the 3 people at the physical marathon, and Sean Collier, the MIT policeman who was killed by the Tsarnaev brothers a couple days afterwards. Of course, the Boston Marathon scheduled for this Monday. Should be great weather, low 60s for the runners with 20,000 plus expected to come out. We'll take a look at our schedule ahead right now as UMass Boston will be playing on Monday. Roger Williams at 3, looking to get the season sweep. Then a huge game at Southern Maine on Tuesday at 3. At Salem State on Wednesday at 3 before they close out the midweek schedule with a trip back to Maine, St. Joseph's College in Maine on Thursday. I believe that's a 4 o'clock start. As the Beacons, with that game getting moved up a week, will now play 4 games in 4 days before traveling to Keene State next Saturday. Ripped, but right at Hughie. Picks it up on a bounce, throws it across. And Eastern Connecticut State's Alexander White is retired 6-3. 3rd trip to the plate for White, first time he was retired. Walked and scored in the 1st, hit a home run over the monster and left in the 2nd.
Center fielder number 3.
As this is the first of the Alexes. Alexander White, Alex Zachary, Alex Parkos, 2, 3, 4 in the Eastern lineup. Zachary's yet to be retired either. Pitch bounces up there from McGuire, who has retired all 4 batters he's faced since coming on in the 3rd. Zachary singled and stole a base in the 1st before scoring, and then walked and scored in the 2nd. Quickly 2-0 to Zachary. Came in hitting .368 with 7 doubles, 2 triples, and one of the team's 3 home runs. Ball chopped down the first baseline fair. Zachary goes down in a ton of pain. This could be terrible news if you're an Eastern fan. The question is, did that hit his foot? The Beacons don't believe so. There's a conversation right now between our base umpire and our home plate umpires. They want to have a deeper conversation. Zachary's down in pain as if that ball caught the inside of his foot. The umpire didn't see it originally, but this would be terrible news whether or not he's out right now. Zachary's your starting center fielder, your 3-hole hitter, an All-American, and if he goes down, there's a big hole in the lineup as they're going to say it did hit his foot, much to the chagrin of the Beacons fans, but that doesn't matter right now as Tessa Martin, the Beacons trainer, comes out to have a conversation with Zachary. If he has to come out of the game, if he misses any time, that's a big hole to fill. Zachary is going to wave off the trainers. Brendan Eigenbrod having a conversation with the home plate umpire. The original call was that the ball didn't hit his foot, according to Richard Cacciatore Jr., the home plate umpire. But he went down and had a short conversation with Jeff January, the base umpire, and they agree that it must have hit the foot, or either that or Alex Zachary is an award-winning actor, which I don't believe he is. As he'll have to step up again, 2-1 with that banged up foot, and he fouls that one off of Anthony Searles, who hobbles out of there, caught his hand. 2-2 now as Cacciatore Jr. will come out and talk to McGuire, giving Searles a little bit of time, but also giving Zachary a bit of time, as neither guy seems to be in the greatest shape after getting hit by the ball the last 2 pitches. 2-2 with 1 down. After this half inning, we'll bring you an update on the other 3 conference games. So all 8 conference teams playing conference doubleheaders today. Ball flared out through the left side. Zachary's 2 for 2 is reached all 3 times. And he's the first batter to reach against Joe McGuire, who had retired the first 4 batters he had faced. Alex Parkos, the next batter. Parkos struck out swinging the first, hit a double just underneath the home run line in center, out to dead center field, and then scored on the 2-run double from Pat Soroyce back in the second. McGuire looks in. A long look here with Zachary over at first. And Parkos will call timeout. You really don't want to pitch to Parkos with runners on. This is a guy who just has all the power in the world. Came in 3rd on the team with his .356 batting average. Had started every game either at third base or DH. 26 of 73, 11 runs, 7 doubles, 1 triple, 19 RBI, tops on the team. Slugging percentage of .479. That one comes up and catches him. And there's 2 on with 1 out. First hit by pitch of the day. We'll bring up Pat Soroyce, who's 2 for 2 with 3 RBI.
The right fielder, number 6, Pat Soroyce.
Soroyce, the right fielder, singled to the shortstop, a softly hit infield single and scored in the first. And then a 2-run double down the left field lines the opposite field in the second, was stranded there at second base as McGuire misses low. Biggest thing here for Joe coming on in the 3rd inning is the Beacons want him to soak up innings. This game will be his as long as he's pitching semi-effectively, with the Beacons trailing 8-1 here in the 4th. If they can't make a serious run at this game, the goal is just to have McGuire not tax the rest of the bullpen as that pitch is low. 2-0 with 1 down. See if Soroyce gets the green light. Already 2 hits and 3 RBI in this one. Has 2 on with the 1 out. 2-0 pitch. Chop towards the first baseman, Fowler. He'll go to second, get the first out. Chance for the double play, and the throw is in time. The old 3-6-1 DP, and it's an inning ender here. Head to the bottom of the 4th. The Beacons only trail by 7. We'll see what the Beacons bats can do, as it'll be 4-5-6. Fowler, the player who started that double play, leading off for UMass Boston.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Take a look at the other games going on today. A couple of big doubleheaders. Western trails 3-1 in the bottom of the fourth at Keene State. Keene State at 1-3. Western at 1-3 as well. Southern Maine, no surprise. Oh, actually, they're trailing 4-3 in the bottom of the third to Rhode Island College. That would be a surprise, as Rhode Island College came in at 1-3. Southern Maine 4-0. And UMass Dartmouth leads Plymouth State 2-0 in the bottom of the fourth. UMass Dartmouth tied with the Beacons for second place at 3-1. It's the first pitch to Fowler is well outside. Fowler, the Beacons cleanup hitter and first baseman, lined out to DJ Scavone at first as he flares this one out to left. That one's going to be towards the wall. That one's got a chance. And Chris Fowler has hit 4 home runs in 5 conference games. The Beacons cleanup hitter able to clear the wall the opposite way. Seen a pair of Green Monster home runs. And Fowler is going to get a couple of Beacons players out of the dugout. A tough 8-0 start, but the Beacons have gotten one back in the third, one in the fourth. And there's a little bit of hope on the Beacons side as Nick Herzog will step up. We'll bring you the highlight of that home run when we've got it. We've also got a look at the inning-ending double play from the last half inning at some point as Nick Herzog steps up. Herzog struck out looking back in the second as part of a 1-2-3 second inning. Mucham goes back to work. 0-1 pitch, that one low. Herzog on the season hitting .267, 23rd start, 24 of 90 with 13 runs and 16 RBI. 1-1 pitch to the Riverhead, New York native is a slider in there for strike 2. 1-2 pitch to Herzog, takes it high. Nick, a year ago, appeared in 40 games, started just 6 for the Beacons. Was a late-inning defensive replacement for the most part for Ryan Olivo. 2-2 pitch, fouled off. Saw a lot more time in the LEC tournament and the NCAA tournament when Lionel Danielson went down with an injury. The 2-2 pitch to Nick is flared out towards short center. This one could be trouble. Falls in front of Zachary, and the Beacons have their first inning with multiple hits. A leadoff home run from Fowler the opposite way, and a softly hit single to center to Herzog. Now, there's no reason to be worried if you're an Eastern fan at this point, but it's good to see UMass Boston's not going to go down without a fight, as it'll actually be Danny Brown here for UMass Boston, the second baseman. The Beacons lead the conference in sacrifice bunts by close to 20, but I don't think you're going to see much small ball in a game where the Beacons were trailing 8-0 through an inning and a half. Brown, the freshman second baseman, who's an outfielder by trade but has had to move to second because of the injury to Lopez. The Beacons' original starting second baseman this year was Charlie Hughey. But after Dave Murphy suffered an inning-ending injury, the all-region shortstop, Hughey moved to short, and Eddie Riley and Danny Brown have been fighting for the second base job, with Lopez missing his 6th consecutive game, at least not getting the start today. 2-0 pitch to Brown, well outside. Muchin in danger of putting the first 3 batters he's faced here in the fourth on base. Wind blowing out today. We've already seen 2 home runs over the wall. 3-0 pitch, fastball down the middle, 3-1. Brown taking all the way. Danny has struggled when starting, hitting just 220, or 2 of 20 with 3 runs scored as he takes a 5-pitch walk. For Muchin, that's walk number 3 in 3+ innings, and we'll see a conversation at the mound with the pitching coach for Eastern. While we've got a chance, we'll take a look at that home run from Chris Fowler to start the half inning. See if we can get that one up for you. As here's Fowler, the junior from Barnstable, crushing a pitch over the left field wall. And you see it there, easily over the monster. And Fowler, who hit 2 home runs against Rhode Island, against UMass Dartmouth, 1 against Rhode Island College, picks up his 4th in 5 conference games, team high 4 home runs in the year. And he was met in the Beacons dugout there by quite a few excited teammates. The mound meeting is over. 2 on, no outs for Anthony Searles. Certainly has the pop to put one out here at home. Anthony has 10 hits on the year. Not so great, but 4 doubles and 3 triples. So 7 of his 10 hits have gone for extra bases. Also has the 7 RBI. A walk-off double in a win over Suffolk a couple weeks ago here at home. First pitch to Searles, in on the hands for ball 1. The runner at second is Herzog. Hit a shallow single to center that fell in front of Zachary, and Danny Brown at first after a 5-pitch walk. Both guys with good speed. Searles has good speed for a catcher. Takes it underneath the hands, 1-1. Searles struck out swinging to end the second. He's amongst the leaders in the conference in strikeouts and walks. Trying to just keep this positive momentum going for the Beacons at the plate. Got 1 back in the 3rd, now 1 here in the 4th, trailing 8-2. Runners take off, double steal. The throw is going to be to third, and it's into left field. Herzog doesn't realize it. He's going to score. Now there might be a play at third. Brown, the trail runner. The throw's not in time, and the Beacons will take 2 bases at each spot as the throw from LaFave got away, and UMass Boston has made it 8-3. There's a runner at third with just 1 down, and the Beacons have a chance to cut this lead that was 8-0 in half here as Brown moves up to third, just barely beating the throw. See if we can get the replay of that last play if Rachel Maslak, our director, is able to get it. And Searles is going to make Eastern pay as he's got a single, and he's going to head towards second and now head back. Zachary, a great job cutting it off and making the play. But Anthony Searles, his 11th hit of the year, his 8th RBI, and UMass Boston has cut it to 8-4. Still no outs here in the 4th inning. So maybe the talk of a mercy rule a little bit premature, as the Beacons men's soccer coach, Jake Beverland, an active participant on Twitter, was tweeting the Beacons were just trying to lull Eastern to sleep. Well, it's only 8-4 now, as the Beacons still have no outs here in the 4th inning. In the inning, the Beacons have a homer, a single, a walk, a single, a double steal, and an error on the catcher, LaFave. Fershino even in the count at 1-1. In his lone at bat, he tripled out over the outstretched glove of Soroyce in right and came in to score on a sacrifice fly from Hughie, the 9-hole hitter. 1-1 pitch to Fershino, well outside. Oh! 1-2, and that was the first pitch today I think you could argue with on either side. That pitch was tailing outside, and it looked, from my perspective, right behind home plate as that one was in the right-hander batting box by the time it went into the glove of LaFave. 1-2 pitch now to Fershino. He'll bounce it over through the right side. Only play will be to first base. The throw is in time, and Budzik is able to retire Scavone. But Searles moves up to second. Fershino gets that job done at least. And there's 1 down with the runner on second. The Beacons have already scored 3 runs. As we'll take a look at the error from LaFave after this batter. Hughie, in his only trip to the plate, hit a sacrifice fly to medium right field to score Fershino. Takes the first pitch on the outside corner. Hughie, a .278 hitter a season ago. It struggled this year, hitting .218, up a couple points after his 2 triples against Babson. It's the 0-1 pitch to Hughie, breaking ball in there for a strike, 0-2. He came in 16 17 of 78 with 16 runs scored, 9 RBI, 4 doubles, 2 triples, and a home run. 0-2 pitch to Hughie well high, trying to get him to chase. Searles is out there at second base. He had an RBI single to center to score Danny Brown. The Beacons with 3 runs on the inning, a Chris Fowler solo shot to start the inning, a single from Herzog, a walk to Brown, a double steal, and then the error by Lefebvre that brought in Herzog, pushed Brown all the way to third, and Searles' single would have scored Brown from second either way. Zachary out there in center has a cannon. That's one of the things I remember from last year's LEC tournament. Threw out a runner at home plate on a perfect throw and tag from Tim Budd, Christian Budzik, the shortstop, now second baseman. 1-2 pitch coming to Hughie, and a check swing, strike 3. Big second out for Muchin, who's just trying to keep this game at 8-4 after his team scored 8 runs in the first 2 innings.
Left fielder number 16, Ryan McCormick.
That's the 3rd strikeout for Muchin, who threw a no-hitter against Plymouth State 2 weeks ago before taking a loss last week in a 2-1 loss to Southern Maine. Slider in there for a ball. That was a near-perfect pitch. It looked to be over the plate and at waist level, but 1-0. 1-0 pitch ripped up the middle. We'll see if they're going to send Searles. They will, and the Beacons have scored 4 in the 4th to cut it to 8-5. Good piece of hitting there from Ryan McCormick. Put it right back up the middle, and Ryan picks up RBI number 9, and his first hit of the day moves to 1 for 3. Brings up Dan Mantoni, starting pitcher who flew out to left center in the 1st and walked in the 3rd, a chance to help himself. Mantoni lasted only 2 innings, giving up 8 hits and 8 runs, but if the Beacons can come back and tie this game at some point, he won't be in line for the loss. He's got McCormick over there at first base. Close play at first, but McCormick back in there. This has been a good inning for UMass Boston. A home run, single, walk, single, pair of outs, and then the RBI single from the freshman left fielder. Brings up the hot portion of the lineup. 1-0 to Mantoni, in on the hands, fouls it back, 1-1. It's a weird look for UMass Boston. These black helmets. Cannot remember the last time UMass Boston wore the black batting helmets.
If they come back and win this game, they're going to burn the blue helmets.
1-1 with 2 down here. Another close play, but McCormick able to dive back. DJ Scavone at first base, one of a number of players who stand over 6 feet on a very hot-hitting Eastern team. Another throw over. For those of you wondering at home, you see some of the Beacons batters and base runners looking down at their wrists at the cards. The numbers indicate plays. So whether to bat or whether to hit and run, to take a pitch, possible double steal. So both the base runners and the hitters will be looking down. The softball team uses the exact same kind of cards, but they also use it for their defensive plays. 1-1, 2 down. The runner takes off. The throw is going to be once again wide. McCormick doesn't look up, though, and Lefebvre has once again thrown a really poor throw down to a base. It's going to just go as a stolen base as McCormick taking off, and Ryan is now in scoring position with his 4th stolen base in 5 attempts. It's 1-2 here to Mantoni with the runner in scoring position. A chance for the Beacons to potentially cut into this deficit further. Only 8-5. 8-5, and it'll stay that way for the moment as Mantoni fouls another ball back. Looking for a potential RBI here. Comes in tied for second on the team with 16. Fowler, who had the team lead, has already extended that to 19 with his 16th consecutive game with a hit. Sure, that one with his home run to start this inning. 1-2 pitch up at the eyes, and it's 2-2 now. UMass Boston looking to fully get back into this game. They trailed 8-0 after an inning and a half, got 1 in the 3rd, 4 more here in the 4th. Trail 8-5 with the runner on second and 2 down. 2-2 pitch to Mantoni, swings and misses. A big strikeout for Muchin to end the inning, but not before the Beacons get 4 runs in on the inning on 4 hits, a walk, and an error. We head to the 5th. We've got a ball game here at Monon. UMass Boston trails 8-5 after 4.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
John Masagno leads off for Eastern here. All of a sudden, they could use a few more runs. Breaking ball in there on the outside corner for strike 1. Masagno, Scavone, and Budzik, 6, 7, 8 here in the 5th. Eastern has seen their 8-0 lead cut into. It's now 8-5 as pair of good breaking balls from McGuire quickly ahead 0-2. McGuire came on to start the 3rd and has allowed just allowed a single and a hit by pitch. Got an inning-ending double play, 3-6-1 to end the 4th inning. We'll take a look at that double play after this first batter of the 5th. As Masagno now at a 1-2 count. 1 for 2 on the day, a single and a run scored in the 1st as he swings and misses. First strikeout in 2 innings for McGuire, his 2nd of the game. And right now we'll take a look at that double play as Fowler was able to start it and the McGuire getting over in time. See that high bounce and then over to Hughie across to McGuire, just beating Soroyce for the inning-ending double play. Brings up DJ Scavone, who takes the first pitch outside. Scavone, the last batter in the Eastern lineup, who has yet to face up against Joe McGuire. He struck out swinging in the 1st, flew out to center in the 2nd. 0 for 2 thus far. So that one low and away, but apparently caught the corner. The 2nd or 3rd time today. We've seen our home plate umpire, Robert Cacciatore Jr., his father, Joseph. That one's off the glove. Hughie's going to have a play. The throw is not in time. An infield single there for Scavone after the ball hit off the top of McGuire's glove for an infield single. Robert Cacciatore Jr. is related to Joseph Cacciatore, who's another New England area ump. But Robert behind the plate and has stretched the strike zone a couple times today. So a runner on first after the single back to the pitcher, and Christian Budzik steps up, had a big 2-run double down the right field line in the 1st, flew out to right to start McGuire's appearance in the 3rd. The Beacons shading him towards the right side as Budzik bunts it foul. He's the rare right-handed batter who seems to tend to hit the ball to the right side. And Frashino, the Beacon center fielder, is about 10 steps to the right of the second base bag. Herzog a little bit close to the right field line than he normally is, as it's 1-1 now to Budzik, the senior shortstop, having a career season, hit about .230 a year ago, now hitting .333 as a senior. The pitch is swung on and missed. 1-2 now to the second baseman. Budzik made pair of state championship appearances at Cromwell High School, one of a number of players out of Cromwell High School. Won the state title as a junior. That ball's popped up on the right field side. Herzog loses his hat, camps under it for the second out of the inning. Pretty easy scouting report there on Budzik. He's going to hit the ball to the right fielder. He's done that all 3 times. One of them got down the right field line for a 2-run double. And we've got a pinch hitter, Jake LaFave, whose throwing issues have been the bigger issue today. We'll bring in Merlin Herrera. Herrera, the junior, 5'10", 185, out of Yaquiza, Dominican Republic. I apologize if I pronounced that incorrectly. My Spanish is not my best foreign language. Attended Cheney Tech High School. Herrera, the backup the past couple seasons, has split time with LaFave as he has that one popped up. Fowler tailing over, and he can't make the play as he tried to get there in time, just didn't quite have enough speed to get there. Herrera is an odd case. He played high school ball at Cheney Tech High School. He was a 4-year varsity pitcher, third baseman, and shortstop, yet he finds himself behind the plate in college. He was an All-American and All-State player as a senior, 4-time All-Conference player, and get this, he held the school record for saves. So he's definitely got a good arm. We'll see if he's a little bit more accurate than LaFave behind the plate. Pinch hitting here in the 5th for defensive purposes with the runner on first and 2 outs. 1-1 to the junior as he hits that ball right at Boudris. Boudris will go the short way to second for the fielder's choice, and Eastern, for the 3rd consecutive frame, held off the scoreboard by Joe McGuire. We head to the bottom of the 5th. UMass Boston will try to get a little bit closer. They trail 8-5.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
Might actually be healthy. What? Surprising I should not hear that. All right, so Julia, we're gonna have a new pitcher in the 6th for us. Likely. So if he comes on, we'll just do his. Otherwise, we're gonna do the scoreboard with notes under it. So we'll chat about that when it comes in. 3-4-5 for UMass Boston in the 5th. Boudris, Fowler, and Herzog. Boudris is 0 for 1 with the walk. Flew out to the left field wall to end the 3rd to the warning track. Boudris will hit that one up the middle. Great diving effort from Budzik and throws out Boudris, robbing Boudris of his first hit of the day and a potential 12-game hitting streak. Brings up Fowler, the lone guy in that 2-3-4, who all came in with hitting streaks of 8 games or longer to have extended their hitting streak already. Fowler went deep. A homer over the monster to the opposite field. His 4th home run of the year, all in conference play. He's 1 for 2, a line out to first, and a home run over the left field wall. The Beacons got 1 back in the 3rd, 4 in the 4th to cut the deficit to 8-5. Eastern, 8 runs on 10 hits and 1 error, as Fowler fouls it back 1-1. UMass Boston, 5 runs, 5 hits, no errors. The Beacons have left 3 through 4. Eastern has left 4 through 5. Ripped, but Scavone once again able to make the play. Fowler has hit the ball hard 3 times, but twice Scavone has been there. That time a much better play, a diving effort from the big first baseman. DJ using all of the reach on that one. 6'4", 245 out of Auburn, Mass. to rip his first baseman counterpart. And it'll bring up Nick Herzog, a single to short center, a stolen base, and came in to score on the throwing error from Lefebvre in the fourth. The Beacons try to avoid going 1-2-3 against Jordan Muchin. That ball has popped up a mile high. Coming over is Herrera, who stays in the game. The third baseman, a diving effort. They run into each other. It pops out of the glove there of Parkos, and both guys appear to be okay. Great effort from both players. Just couldn't quite get to the high pop-up that fell fast off the bat of Nick Herzog. UMass Boston fell behind 8-0 through an inning and a half. 8 runs on 8 hits against the Beacons' ace, Dan Mantoni. But since then, Joe McGuire has kept them off the scoreboard the next 3 frames. The Beacons finally got something going with a run in the third, 4 more in the fourth. 1 and 2 here to Herzog. Muchin misses wide. Jordan has pitched well. I think it's hard when you have a lead like this. Sometimes you get a bit lackadaisical, and the Beacons doing a good job with their approach, but still has his team in a good spot. Strike 3 looking. Herzog goes down looking for the second time today. That's the 5th overall strikeout for Muchin. We're through 5. Eastern leads 8-5.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools is the fact that a large percentage of students commute. For me, it takes 2 hours each day to go to and from school, but every second has been worth it because the students that come here are serious about learning, they value their education, and understand where it'll take them in the future. This is what UMass Boston means to me.
Eastern Connecticut State steps up here in the top of the 6th, looking to extend their lead. 8 runs in the first 2 innings, nothing since against Joe McGuire, who will stay on despite the fact that the Beacons have a pitcher warm out there in the bullpen. For Eastern here in the top of the 6th, as it's quickly 2-0 to the leadoff hitter Corey Baldwin, followed by the Alexes, Alexander White, Alex Zachary, Alex Parkos. McGuire catches the inside portion of the plate against Baldwin, who's 1 for 3 today. A single over the head of the second baseman to lead off the game and a run scored in the first. Thought about swinging there, and Baldwin held up. It's 2-2. Flew out to left in the second, grounded out to first to end the third, and is only at bat against McGuire, who came on in the third. 2-2 pitch, hit softly over to Brown. Brown down to a knee, picks it up, throws in time. And McGuire has now retired the leadoff hitter in each of his 4 innings. That's big because Eastern was able to put the first 3 batters on in the first inning and scored 5 runs. Dan Mantoni came on to get the first batter in the second. And now we're going to see the pitching change. So Joe McGuire comes on trailing 8-0 and goes 3 1/3 innings, allowing just the 2 hits, the 1 hit by pitch, struck out a pair, did not walk one. And while he won't get their decision, if the Beacons do manage to come all the way back, he's going to deserve a huge amount of the praise. So Brian Kaufman will be the new Beacons pitcher. He's been lights out this season as he'll trot out and meet Brendan Igerbroth, the Beacons' 13th year head coach, and Anthony Searles, along with Chris Fowler there on your screen. And we'll bring you the numbers on Brian in just a second as he looks to keep this an 8-5 game. He's coming in to face the heart of the order, 2-3-4 here in the 6th. Kaufman out of Farmingdale, New York, was good as a sophomore, a midweek starter, an occasional long reliever, and even sometimes a late innings guy. Beacons used him as the Game 4 starter in the LEC tournament, pitched a lot in their 4th game of the NCAA Regional Tournament. See, the Beacons tried to come back against Kane University, UMass Boston, finishing 3rd in the NCAA Regional in the Mid-Atlantic. Eastern went 0-2, playing on their home field. Losses to SUNY Oswego, the 2 seed, and Mitchell College, the 6 seed. Kaufman, 6', 180, and what a year he has had. A 0.76 ERA, the top ERA in the conference. 1-0, 23 and 2/3 innings pitched. 20 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 11 strikeouts versus 7 walks. 2.41 ERA. He's pitching in his 3rd LEC game, all in relief. Came on the past 2 weeks in game number 2 to replace JT Morin in the 2nd, and then Matt Tully, I believe, last week in the 4th or the 5th. And he has just been phenomenal. This is a glue guy for the Beacons, and while McGuire just did his job going 3 1/3, the Beacons hope that Kaufman can keep Eastern quiet for a little bit longer in what would be a huge comeback win. Go down 8-0 to any team, but 8-0 to a team like Eastern that has so much history here in the Little East Conference. Still a long way to come back. 3 runs, the Beacons down to their final 12 outs, but they've done a good job cutting back into it. Kaufman has not allowed an earned run in his last 5 appearances. He's gone at least 2 innings in each of those appearances. 15 innings, has not allowed an earned run. He's allowed just 10 hits in those 15 innings. As it's 2-0 quickly to Alexander White, who's 1 for 2. A walk and a run scored in the 1st. A home run over the wall in the left in the 2nd, and then grounded out 6-3 to start the 4th as he takes a fastball waist level on the outside, 2-1. Kaufman has not given up a run since the Beacons' Florida trip, when he went 6 innings, allowed 8 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned in his lone start, and the Beacons lost 6-5 to the University of Wisconsin Stevens Point in the game in which the Beacons led before giving up 2 in the 8th and 1 in the 10th. 2-2 pitch, bounces up there, count runs full. So Kaufman has not given up a run in 18 innings. That is a phenomenal streak for a guy who has not had a set roll through his first 3 years. Misses wide, and a leadoff walk, at least for Kaufman, to Alexander White in front of Alex Zachary and Alex Parkos. Not the greatest of starts for Kaufman, but what he's done really well has been keeping the ball down. He's not a guy who throws particularly hard. He works a lot with the changeup, the slider, and the curveball, and right now he's going to look for an inning-ending double play ball. He came on Tuesday against Salem State and was able to get an inning-ending double play in relief. As Zachary, the All-American, fouls off the first pitch, well out of play. Appears to be a goal scored to our left by the Boston College high school lacrosse team. Zachary 2 for 2 with a walk today, yet to be retired. Singled, picked up an RBI and a stolen base and a run scored in the first, walked and scored in the second, and then singled through the left side in the fourth after the Beacons thought he'd been retired, but the umpires conversed and agreed that the ball had hit off the inside of his foot. 0-1 here to Zachary. Had a pretty successful career at D2. As the throw over, it's close, but they're going to rule that White got in there in time. Zachary out of Enfield, Connecticut, in 2 seasons at Division II Mars Hill University, appeared in 61 games, hit 300, 29 for 99. It's the 0-1 pitch, a pitch out, 1-1, nothing doing. Last year in his first season with Eastern, started all 42 games. He led the team with a 380 average, 450 on base percentage, 669 slugging percentage. Also had a team best 43 runs scored, 10 homers, 11 stolen bases, and finished second behind Parkos with 38 RBI. Another throw over, not even close. First team all-conference player and an ABCA All-American. He started this season on a 15-game hit streak and has successfully reached in 18 of 19 games. 1-for-1. This time the runner takes off. Breaking ball, throw down. It bounces through, and Hughie can't make the catch. So Alexander White steals second base. Was going to be an easier pitch to run on either way, as it was a breaking ball in the outside half. Searles' throw was almost there in time, but Hughie couldn't make the catch on the low bounce. So 1-2 with the runner on second now. Eastern has successfully stolen 2 bases today, 1 from Zachary, 1 from White. And there's a runner in scoring position here for Alex Zachary with a chance to extend his team's lead back to 4. Zachary on the year, 10 extra base hits, 7 doubles, 2 triples, and 1 home run. 1-2 pitch to him. Beacons were looking to catch the corner, just missed, 2-2. Long frame job there by Searles, hoping it would be enough, but this time Robert Cacciatore Jr. was not so lenient on the outside half. It's been an interesting strike zone today. There have been a couple head scratchers. Kaufman was the Game 2 starter a year ago against Eastern. Took the loss in a 7-3 game. Long look back at second. 2-2 pitch fouled off on a pitch that was outside. It was the second LEC doubleheader in as many days for UMass Boston and Eastern. They played on a Sunday. Sunday, March 10th to be exact. April 10th. Kaufman went 5 innings, allowed 4 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned in the loss, as Eastern scored 5 consecutive runs after the game was tied 2-2 in the 4th. That ball is skied up into left field. McCormick struggling to find it, running over to the wall, and he can't make the catch. That one's got to be an error, as Zachary is going to be in his second base. Coming in to score is White, and that is crushing for UMass Boston. McCormick was there, and for some reason he jumped up when it looked like he was under the ball, allowing the run to score. It's going to go down as an unearned run. First run that's been scored against Kaufman in a while. Still doesn't go down against his credit, but that's big for Eastern as it stretches out the lead to 9-5. First run is unearned for now. The second run will definitely be unearned if Zachary was to score. So White coming in second after the stolen base. And you figure if he hadn't been able to steal, maybe he wouldn't have scored there. Instead, 1 run in for Alex Parkos, who's liable to trade places with Zachary here. Already has 1 double just underneath the yellow tape out there in center. Takes a pitch inside. Parkos struck out swinging the first, doubled and scored in the second. And then was hit by a pitch in the 4th, was thrown out as part of a 3-6-1 inning-ending double play. The wind was taking that ball, but McCormick, for some reason, jumping up to try to catch it, misjudging it against the wall out there and left, And it cost the Beacons, allowing a run to score, Eastern's first run since the second inning after the Beacons had scored 5 straight. 1-0 pitch, breaking ball. On the outside, half 1-1. 1-1, 1 down, runner on second, 1 run already in. Throw back to second base as Hughie came in behind. Faked the throw back to the pitcher and then tried to get the tag, but Zachary not fooled. Zachary, one of the team's better base runners, has 7 steals in 8 attempts. He and Pat Soroyce, the only guys who have attempted more than 3 stolen bases. Soroyce 6 of 8. Swing and a miss. The throw down the third bounces up there, and Zachary's in there in time. It's 1-2 now, but Zachary, the second stolen base of the inning, third of the game. Eastern 3 for 3, and he's 90 feet away from pushing the lead back to 5 at 10-5. One and two. Brian Kaufman came on with 1 out and has allowed a walk and an error. Ball hit hard, but Boudreaux's in at third. The throw across, and that'll keep Zachary right where he was. Nice grab from the Beacon sophomore third baseman. It brings up Pat Soroyce, who's already picked up 3 RBI in the game. Base hit could make it 4. In fact, the base hit really should make it 4. It would be very impressive to see a base hit here that doesn't score Alex Zachary, one of the speedier players on the Eastern roster. Everybody moves back a bit. The infield wasn't fully in there, but in a couple steps. Soroyce is 2 for 3. An RBI single to short in the first, a 2-run double to left in the corner in the second, and then a 3-6-1 double play to end the inning in the fourth. Wind whipping a bit right now, 1-0, 2 outs. Zachary on third with 1 run in. That one bounces up there. Good stop from Searles. Eastern scored 5 runs on 5 hits in the first, 3 more on 3 hits in the second, and they've been held scoreless until the 6th here on the error by McCormick. The Beacons' first error of the game could be a costly one. UMass Boston's bats broke through in the third. A triple from Frascino to lead off, followed by a sacrifice fly from Hughie. 4 more in the fourth. The leadoff homer from Fowler. And then RBI singles from Searles and McCormick as Kaufman issues his second free pass in 4 batters. And there's runners at the corners for John Masagno, the team's top statistical hitter. Came in hitting over 400. That average has dropped a bit. 405 exact to start. He's 1 for 3. Hard hit single up the middle in the first. Ground out to third and a strikeout swinging. Already his 4th at bat for the 6-hole hitter here in the 6th. Kaufman looks over to first. Runners on the corners with 2 down. And Masagno, the freshman DH, asked for time. (9-5) Eastern leads in the top of the 6th inning. They look for their 5th straight win over UMass Boston. Pitch inside 1-0. This has been a long half inning despite only the 1 run coming in. That first half inning took nearly 20 minutes as Eastern scored 5 runs and had 9 batters step up to the plate. This one's probably close to 15 minutes as the Beacons had a mid-inning pitching change. Wonder how that'll affect Muchin if he does come on, as Kaufman likes that fake the third, look at first play, but he's yet to be able to pick off a runner despite a couple of close throws at first. Really should just focus on the batter Masagno here with 2 on and 2 down. Already 1 run in on the error by McCormick. 1-0 to Masagno. In there for strike 1 on the outside half. One and one with 2 outs. Another throw over to first base. Chris Fowler is getting a little extra work over there, making some plays at the first base bag. Decent lead for Sorois, who is one of the team's better base stealers, 6 for 8. Zachary with good speed as well over there at third base, 7 for 8. 2 and 1, 2 down. To John Masagno, the freshman DH, looking to add on to his team's lead. Kaufman waits, the 2-1 pitch in on the hands. Not sure if he went, but it caught the corner either way as Masagno asked the same question I was wondering about. 2 and 2 now as Masagno stepped out of the box to look over to head coach Matt LeBranch, who is looking for win number 90 today as head coach of Eastern in his 4th season. Winningest head coach in Western New England history before coming over to the Warriors. He's made the NCAA tournament in 2 of his 3 seasons, won a pair of LEC tournament titles. That one is swung and hit off the foot of Masagno. We'll do it again. Runner was taking off from first base. In his 1st season, LeBranch won the regular season title and the LEC tournament title at home. Last year as the 5 seed after losing 6 in a row, Eastern came into Boston and won the LEC tournament going 4-0. 2 and 2, 2 outs, 2 on. Eastern leads 9-5. Kaufman looking to get out of the inning with just the 1 unearned run. 2-2 pitch, and that one is ripped out to left field. It's going to score at least 1. McCormick's going to play it off the wall. They're going to hold Sorois at third, but Eastern adds another run, and Hughie throws it into the turf. Fortunately, no more advancement, but Eastern has scored 2 unearned runs in the inning, and they've stretched the lead to 10-5. That error from McCormick is coming back to bite the Beacons right now, as they should have already been out of the inning. Instead, Masagno picks up his 2nd hit and his 1st RBI, and Eastern's lead is 10-5. Both runs unearned in the inning. There should have already been 3 outs as that ball's chopped foul on the first baseline. Joe McGuire was pulled after the 1st out as he went 3 1/3 innings, allowing 2 hits, no runs. Kaufman came on. A lot of walk. The error that allowed Alexander White to score, and then Zachary reached on the error, just came in to score on the RBI double from Masagno. 2 in scoring position with 2 outs. Another bouncing ball, and Searle's able to catch up to it. Eastern, 2 big runs to push the lead back to 5 after the Beacons had cut it to 8-5 in the 4th. Beacons softball teams in the bottom of the 7th and UMass Dartmouth leading 5-2, looking for a big win to snap a 3-game losing streak as DJ Scavone swings at a pitch well outside the zone, 1-2. Scavone struck out swinging the 1st, flew out to center to end the 2nd, and then singled off the glove of McGuire for his 1st hit in the 5th. He was stranded at first base. 1-2 pitch with 2 down. That one's flared out to left. If it's fair, that's at least 2 runs, and it will be. 2 more unearned runs to score. DJ Scavone a double, and Eastern has pushed their lead back to 7. So just like that, a costly error by the Beacons left fielder, and the Beacons' chances of coming back in this one have just become a lot more slim. Eastern with back-to-back RBI doubles. The Warriors are now up to 12 hits on the day.
The second baseman, number 11, Christian Budzik.
6 of those for extra bases, 5 doubles and a home run. It'll bring up Christian Budzik, who had an RBI double in the first, a fly out to right in the third, a fly out to right in the fifth, and look for him to go the opposite way. Takes the first pitch low. He didn't like it. Neither do the Warriors fans below me, and he's still expressing his dislike. That pitch looked a little bit low, but welcome to Division III baseball. Very few umpires that are 100% consistent. As that ball's a high chopper to third. Boudris will field throw, a high throw. Fowler catches it and applies the tag. Budzik frustrated. But Eastern picks up 4 runs in the 6th. Their lead is 7 through 5.5 after a big 4-run 6 with all 4 runs coming unearned.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. There's a lot of people. Here there's a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, so it's so much better to have like an advisor helping you out, like telling you which classes to choose.
Leading off the Beacons at the bottom of the 6th inning, the second baseman, number 37,
Danny Brown shows bunt. Parkos picks it up. The throw is not in time, and Danny Brown has himself a bunt single to start the bottom of the 6th. The Beacons needed base runners as the long uphill battle begins again. They cut an 8-run deficit to 3. Now it's a 7-run deficit after 4 unearned runs. All 4 runs coming in unearned after the error from Ryan McCormick. Couldn't quite judge the space between the wall and himself, and he jumped up and dropped the fly ball off the bat of Alex Zachary. It'll bring up Anthony Searles, who's 1 for 2 today with an RBI single and a run scored. Struck out swinging to end the 2nd, and in the 4th had an RBI single to score Danny Brown, who has reached twice, a single and a walk. Also came in to score after being part of a double steal that Jake LaFave threw the ball away. Merlin Herrera behind the plate after pinch hitting. He's probably a little bit better of a defensive option. Searles swings through and misses the 1-0 pitch. Herrera has picked off 1 base runner this year as the runner takes off. Herrera's throw to the left side of the bag, and Danny Brown has the base stolen as it's now 1-2. Searles, another swing and miss. Merlin has thrown out 4 of 12 base runners going into today, making 4 of 13. Runner at second with no outs for Searles. The 1-2 pitch is high. Anthony just looking to reach base here and create a similar inning to the 4th, where the Beacons sent 8 runners to the plate and scored 4 runs. Eastern with 4 they're on the 6th to cancel out that inning. So it's 12-5 after Eastern led 8-0 originally. Searles asked for time. He's had just 11 hits on the season, a rough season, easily his worst at the plate. Does have 8 RBI and 7 extra base hits. Brown at second with good speed, the starting second baseman today. Bounces up there, and the count runs to 3-2. Anthony does have a good eye. Leads the conference with his 19 walks coming in today. For a guy who's hitting 135, you wouldn't expect a 333 on base percentage. 3-2 pitch to Searles is high. That's walk number 20. And the Beacons have the first 2 runners on for only the second time today, the 4th and the 6th. Muchin still out there. It does look like there's a lefty warming for Eastern, a righty for the Beacons. Sal Fruscino steps up. Sal tripled and scored in the 3rd. And then grounded out to second weakly in the 4th. First pitch to Sal, a breaking ball that drops right in on the outside corner, 0-1.
18-4 playing catch for East Conn.
For Eastern, pair of guys up. Nick Riscotti, one of the team's top pitchers, a lefty who can go multiple innings, along with Cole Ogorzalak. Fruscino pops that one out. Parkos, does he have enough room along the dugout? He does, and that's a high pop-up in foul territory. Not a productive out for Fruscino, as there's now 1 down for Charlie Hughey. Comes to these kind of innings, you want to have base runners and you want to have productive outs. That doesn't do it for either account, as it'll bring up Charlie Hughey.
The shortstop, number 29, Charlie Hughey.
Hughey, a sacrifice fly in the 3rd to score for Fruscino, and a strikeout swinging back in the 4th, looking for his first hit as he takes a changeup on the inside half, 0-1. Muchin about to throw his 100th pitch, trying to get through the 6th. That'll probably be it, as he's in line for his 3rd win of the season. Hasn't pitched great, but his offense has provided more than enough run support as Hughey fists that one out into left. Coming in on it is White. White struggling with it, and he finally will make the catch. Had stagger stepped a couple times, looking like he was struggling to find it. Instead, he easily makes the play, and there's 2 down for McCormick. Got a final from Dartmouth. The UMass Boston softball team has ended their 3-game losing streak. Gave up 2 in the 6th and 1 in the 7th, but Jess Greenspan able to close it out for her 11th win as the Beacons win 5-3. Get back to 2-3 in conference play. First pitch to McCormick, a fastball on the outside half. McCormick is 1 for 3. Grounded out to first in the 1st, flew out to left in the 3rd, and then had an RBI single and a stolen base in the 4th. 0-1 to the freshman left fielder that had the bad miscue in the top half of the inning. There's a great curveball, and it's 0-2. Eastern came in at 1-3 in conference play. The Beacons at 3-1. UMass Boston has lost 4 straight against the Warriors dating back to 2015. 0-2 pitch, flared out to left, definitely going to be foul, and that one will end up on the track over on the lacrosse football soccer complex. We'll bring you a look around Beaconville at the next half inning. So the Beacons baseball and softball teams, not the only teams in action today. 0-2 pitch. That one just misses the inside corner, 1-2. Eastern leads 12-5, 12 runs on 12 hits and 1 error. The Beacons 5 runs on 6 hits and 1 error, although the Beacons' error was much more costly than Eastern's error. Eastern's error, throwing error from Jake LaFave. McCormick will flare that one out to center. Zachary coming in on it, and he makes the play. The Beacons strand 2 here in the 6th. They trail 12-5 after 6 as the Warriors took a 5-0 lead in the 1st and have never trailed in this ballgame.
UMass Boston is my first choice because of the incredible theater department.
Because it has an excellent honors college.
Because here I get to interact with professors one-on-one.
Because I'm not going to be crazy in debt when I graduate.
Because at UMass Boston, I've met professors who have changed my life.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
Make the University of Massachusetts Boston your first choice. Visit umb.edu/first choice.
Brian Kaufman is out on the mound to start the 7th. Gave up 4 unearned runs back in the 6th. Right now, though, we'll take a look around the rest of Beaconville. Busy Saturday. UMass Boston softball defeating UMass Dartmouth 5-3. The lacrosse team takes on preseason favorite Keene State at 3:30. Men's tennis is at Southern Maine for a rematch of last year's conference championship match. And track and field is competing at the Tough Sunshine Classic all afternoon long. Head back out to the Diamond, where we've got a couple of defensive changes, as Nick Herzog has moved from right to left. Joey Rogers is in there in right field. Ryan McCormick, the player coming out. Rogers, a much better defensive player than McCormick, who was the last player up. So Rogers will bat in the leadoff spot and be the 9th batter to the plate if the Beacons can go that far in the 7th. Kaufman is out for a second consecutive inning. In that 6th inning, he walked the first batter he faced, then the error by McCormick on the dropped fly ball out and left. Got the next batter, which should have been the 3rd out of the inning, as he came on with no one on and 1 out on a ground out to 3rd, but instead he allowed a walk, RBI double, 2-run double, and then got a ground out. Bunt down the third base line. Boudreaux's only play is to hope it goes foul, and this one will stop just on the line. A perfectly placed bunt from Merlin Herrera, the catcher who came on to pinch hit back in the 5th, and I mean perfectly placed bunt. That ball, Boudreaux had no chance to get it, and then he hoped it would go foul just before the bag. Instead, it stopped right along the spray paint down the third base line, and Merlin has his first hit of the day after coming on to replace Jake Lafave. So Merlin, a leadoff base runner here in the 7th, and the leadoff hitter, Corey Baldwin, hits for the 5th time here in the 7th. Kaufman, the 3rd pitcher of the day for UMass Boston, is Dan Mantoni. The starter only went 2. Joe McGuire went 3 1/3 before Kaufman came on with 1 out in the 6th. 1-0 pitch is chopped up the middle. Going to be a difficult play. And dropping it there is Danny Brown, an E4. And the Beacons, instead of potentially getting 2, not that they were likely to, that was such a slow chopper. Brown drops it as he looks at first base, and there's 2 on with no outs. And just as we talked about the Beacons potentially coming back into this game and cutting it to 3, now Eastern is 3 runs the other way from potentially putting the mercy rule in effect. They have 2 on with no outs, already leading by 7. Remember, it's a 10-run lead after 7 innings. The Beacons would get there at bat here in the 7th or the 8th, whatever point Eastern could potentially put the 10-run lead on. Not to say they're going to against one of the Beacons' top relievers, but just the way these things go, sometimes you get a bad break against you and you lose your confidence and composure. Alexander White today, 2 walks and a home run. Flares that one out to right, and that's going to be in that difficult triangle out in right. 1 run will score. Herrera is going to score, and both runners will move up. That's the 7th extra base hit of the day for Eastern and 6th double. A single, an error, and a softly hit double down the right field from Alexander White, his 2nd hit of the day, his 2nd RBI. Eastern hasn't hit the ball that hard on a lot of these doubles, but they're just in the right spot down the line. And Alexander White has to be happy. Came in on the day hitting .224, and he's got 2 hits and 3 official at-bats. So it makes it a 13-5 game with Herrera scoring, Baldwin at 3rd, White at 2nd, and the infield is in. Ball hit right at Kaufman, looks at both base runners and throws to first. See if we can get you that highlight, as that's a look what I found play, almost kind of self-defense, and big first out there for Kaufman. Now the first run of this inning is not necessarily earned thus far, but likely could be. Kaufman would have to get the next 2 outs without any further advancement. Otherwise, it would be his first earned run allowed in the last 17 innings. Gave up 4 unearned in the 6th after coming on with 1 out, and has given up a run already in this inning, but the Beacons committing another error as Danny Brown bobbled it over at second base. Infield still in with Alex Parkos hitting after Zachary hit the hard grounder. Parkos will chop it foul down the third base line. He's down 0-2. Parkos is 1 for 3 today. Double and a run score in the second. Struck out swinging in the first. Hit by pitch in the fourth. And grounded out to third in the sixth. 0-2 with 2 runners in scoring position. Eastern 2 runs away from putting the mercy rule in effect. That ball's inside, 1-2. The Beacons went down 8-0 early on. They cut it to 8-5, and since Eastern has scored 5 straight runs. 4 of those unearned. Not quite sure about the 5th. Not been the greatest of LEC home openers for the Beacons, who came in 6-2. Ball knifed over the head of Brown. That's going to score 1 and will score both. Not hit that hard, but with the infield in enough to do it. Parkos has 2 RBI, and Eastern leads by 10. Brian Kaufman has finally given up an earned run, and Eastern just continues to put the ball where the Beacons aren't. Not to take anything away from this offense, but it's not as if they've crushed the ball on all these hits. It's just they're putting it in the perfect spots. The 15th hit of the day for the 15th run scored, and that looks like it'll do it for Kaufman. See who the new Beacons reliever is after this commercial break is. Eastern leads 15-5 here on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris. The subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
The new pitcher for UMass Boston is Alex Carasoto, the junior out of Pittsfield, Mass. Has pitched well in limited appearances. 3 appearances, 3 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 0 earned, 2 strikeouts versus 3 walks. He came in and pitched 2 1/3 innings against Babson on Thursday and earned the victory as the Beacons came back. We've got a pinch runner over at first base for Parkos. This will be number 10, Ryan Hood, the sophomore second baseman, who will stay in the game at third, you presume. 5'6", 160 out of Arlington, Mass. Played at Arlington High School. A chance for him to get in his hometown. The final line on Kaufman, it's not 100% official, but just an inning of work, 5 hits. At this point, 7 runs, 2 earned. He could be in line to give up an 8th run and potentially a 3rd earned run. 2 walks, no strikeouts. Easily his worst outing of the season, despite only giving up the 2 earned runs. And Carasota will inherit the base runner at first. So he just looks to get the Beacons out of this miserable 7th inning, in which the Beacons have given up 3 more runs. Eastern with 5 in the first, 3 in the second, 4 in the 6th, all unearned. 3 in the 7th, 1 of which has been unearned. The Beacons 1 in the 3rd, 4 more in the 5th, and they stand behind 15-5 in this doubleheader. Remember, because it's an LEC doubleheader, because it's an LEC conference game and only a regular season conference game, there is a 10-run rule after 7 innings. So the Beacons don't score a run in the bottom half, they will fall in 7 as that ball's hit out to right. Soroyce is retired, and Carasoto gets the 2nd out of the 7th inning. Bring up John Masagno, 2 for 4 with a pair of runs scored and an RBI. Single and a double, along with a strikeout and a ground out to 3rd. Masagno, the freshman DH, improving upon his .405 average. So he's now 17 of 39. Runner over there at first is Ryan Hood. Searles pops up. See if Jordan Muchin comes on for the 7th, or if they bring on one of their relievers who are warming up, Cole Ogorzalak or Nick Riscotti. Don't really see why you would use your closer, but he is a guy who can come in multiple times in one day. As the 1-0 pitch is popped up, Carasoto looking for help. He'll get in the form of Boudris, and Carasoto gets the job done, but not before Eastern scores 3 runs. Only 2 of which were earned. The Beacons trail 15-5, have to get 1 run back. Otherwise, they've just been mercy ruled on their home field in their LEC home opener.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university.
The new pitcher is the closer, Nick Riscotti. Sophomore lefty out of Wallingford, Connecticut, attended Xavier High School, 6', 155. Riscotti on the year, 1-0, making his team-leading 15th appearance. 2 saves of the team's 3 this season, a 1.96 ERA, 18 and 3rd innings, 13 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, 16 strikeouts versus 6 walks, has allowed just a 203 opponent's batting average, and Riscotti will step on here to face 2, 3, 4. Last chance for Dan Mantoni and Kyle Boudris to extend their respective hitting streaks. Mantoni takes the first pitch, a pitch a little off the corner there, looked like, for strike 1. Mantoni is 0 for 1 today, a fly out to center and a walk, along with a strikeout, actually, so we'll make that 0 for 2 is... It's now 1-1 to Mantoni, who was riding an 8-game hitting streak in today's game. He's in line to take the loss after allowing 8 earned runs over the first 2 innings as the 1-1 pitch misses again. Mantoni has extended his reaching streak, either reaching on a hit or a walk. He's reached in all 23 games with this walk in the third. 2-1 pitch. That one is on the inside half. Make it 2-2 as Mantoni was not happy with that call. Mantoni to be followed by Boudris and Fowler. It's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball well outside. Count runs full. Riscotti, as a freshman, had a team-high 20 appearances, tied for first, 3-3 with 3 saves. Good for second on the team, as that one's a bit too far inside. Merlin Herrera was bouncing out, hoping to get a chance to throw down to third. Instead, Mantoni will have to settle for the walk, and that'll likely do it for his 8-game hitting streak. Bring up Kyle Boudris, who has an 11-game hitting streak. Walked in the first, flew out to left in the third, and grounded out to second in the fifth.
The third baseman, number 15, Kyle Boudris.
1 on with no out. Beacons need at least a single run to keep this game going. This game has already gone 2 hours and 19 minutes, despite the fact we're only in the bottom of the 7th. Good news is if this game does end in this half inning, it would mean that as Boudris flares it softly and the hitting streak survives. 12 straight games for Kyle Boudris. And there's 2 on with no outs for the 3rd time today for UMass Boston. What I was saying was that the good news is that game 2 would start on time, right at a 3 o'clock start, but maybe I spoke too soon. Chris Fowler today is 1 for 3. He's hit the ball hard all 3 times. A pair of lineouts to the first baseman, Scavone, and a home run over the left field wall as the Beacons trail by 10 here. Fowler will hit the first pitch up into the jet stream out there in left center. Under it is White, and Fowler is retired from the 3rd time today as his 15-game hit streak still intact, but not helping the old batting average, 1 for 4. Bring up Nick Herzog. A single, stolen base, a run scored to go along with a pair of strikeouts, both looking. Jordan Muchin, the starting pitcher, in line for the victory, allowing 6 hits and 5 earned runs through 5 innings. Muchin also struck out 5 and walked 4. Herzog takes the first 2 pitches, quickly behind 0-2. Mantoni led off with a walk and moved to second on Kyle Boudris' flare into shallow center. 0-2 to the Beacons outfielder. Strike out looking for the 3rd time today, and Eastern is 1 out away from finishing off this game in 7 innings. And I think that Nick Herzog and his coaching staff is going to have a conversation, because that's the 3rd time that Herzog has gone down looking. The Beacons have a sign up in the dugout that says no strikeouts looking. And Nick has struck out 3 times. The Beacons have struck out 6 times on the day. Not a good look for the outfielder out of Riverhead. 1-0 here to Danny Brown. A walker unscored. A single, a stolen base. And he's 1 for 2 after grounding out to first in his first at-bat. 2-0, 2 outs. The Beacons need to score a run before the next out. Otherwise, this game is over. 2-0, 2 outs. Brown rips it into right, and we'll see if Mantoni is going to get the sign. The right fielder picks it up. We'll see Mantoni score. Boudris advance to 3rd, and the Beacons still have life. Danny Brown, his 2nd hit of the day, his first RBI of the game. Boudris moves up to 3rd. Mantoni comes in to score from 2nd. And it's a 15-6 game. Riscotti giving up just his 5th earned run in 19 innings of work. Bring up Anthony Searles. Searles struck out swinging to end the 2nd. Singled and scored after having an RBI single in the 4th and then walked in the 6th. 1-0 here to Anthony Searles. Now, Eastern has blown a big lead this year. They were up 7-3 in the 9th inning of Game 2 against Plymouth as Searles takes that one on the inside half, 1-1. They gave up 13 runs at home in the top of the 9th to lose that game 16-7. Not sure if the Beacons could possibly recreate something. Trailed by a little bit more, down by 10, as Searles will chop it back to Riscotti, fields and throws, but the Beacons get one of the inning. We head to the 8th. The Beacons trail 15-6.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, and I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Seven, 8, 9 for Eastern as they finish off the 5th time around in the order. Scavone, Budzik, and Herrera. DJ went 0 for 2 in his first 2 at-bats. Since then has a single and a 2-run double. Eastern on the day, 15 runs on 15 hits. Believe 8 of them have been for extra base hits, 7 doubles and a home run. This team did not come in with that many extra base hits. They'd hit 3 home runs on the season. Well, they added a 4th. They came in with 42 doubles in 19 games. Let's take out the trusty calculator and give you the per game average, as it's 2-0 to Scavone. That's an average of 2.21 doubles per game. They've got 7 of them today. Scavone now ahead 3-0. See if he gets the green light. Big first baseman taking all the way. And Alex Carasoto has his first strike of the 8th inning. Carasoto came on in the 7th with the runner on and a couple runs already in. Got a pair of outs as that one is ripped and caught by Chris Fowler at first. So Carasoto has retired 3 in a row. And the trusty member of the Beacons Broadcast Network during the fall and winter season is having himself a nice little outing. Through 2 1/3 innings against Babson on Thursday, did not allow a run. And has continued that hot streak, potentially earning a little bit more work from Brendan Eigenbrot as the Beacons used 7 different pitchers on Thursday. Carasoto and closer Bobby Tremendozzi by far the most effective in that victory over the Beavers. Babson yesterday turned a triple play. Ball was hit back to the pitcher. They got the out at first, then a runner in a pickle between 2nd and 3rd, and then got the runner at 3rd trying to score. It was the #1 play on SportsCenter this morning against MIT. 1-0 pitch, misses outside. 2-0 now to Christian Budzik. The second baseman who had an RBI double down the right field line in the first, since then has flown out to right, and grounded out to the third baseman, Boudris. 2-0 pitch right down the middle. Carrier Soto doesn't have a lot of oomph behind his pitches. Throws changeup after changeup, the occasional slider, but when you're going after a couple of guys who throw a little bit harder, it causes problems. Grounder into the hole at short, the throw from Hugie in time, and Carrier Soto is retired 4 straight. Brings up Merlin Herrera. Herrera came up in the 5th as a pinch hitter, hit into a 5-4 fielder's choice, and then put down a great bunt single that fooled the Beacons to start the 7th. It died just along the chalk in front of third base, and he came in to score on the 2-run double from Alexander White. Behind the count, 0-1 to the junior out of the Dominican Republic. As he pops that one up on the infield, Fowler coming in on it, and he'll make the play. A 1-2-3 8th. We're going to play at least 9 today in game 1. UMass Boston down by 9. See if they can cut into it here in the 8th, as the Beacons have trailed the whole way in this one.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Bottom of the 8th inning, UMass Boston will bring 8-9-1 for Shino Hugie and the defensive replacement Joey Rogers on. Looking at Eastern, their 16 hits is a new season high. They had 15 against Suffolk and SUNY Oswego. Oswego, a nationally ranked team that shut the Beacons down 4-0. So 16 hits, a new season high. They have 6 doubles in this one. Their previous high was 5 in a win over Endicott. This is also just the 4th time they've hit a home run in a game. So pretty good offensive output for Eastern. The 15 runs are also a season highs. Frashino, a soft check swing. Budzik chases, and the diving play from Frashino still not there in time. Sal is retired for the 3rd consecutive time after tripling and scoring in his first at-bat back in the 3rd. Nice play by the converted shortstop. Brings up Charlie Hugie looking for that first hit of the day. Hit a sacrifice fly in the 3rd, struck out swinging in the 4th, and flew out to left in the 6th. He shows bunt, pulls it back as Riscotti's out there for his 2nd inning of work. He gave up a single run in the 7th, chance to close out the game with a mercy rule 10-run lead. Instead, he gave up a walk, a single, and an RBI single to go along with 1 strikeout, and he's ahead 0-2 against Hugie. So Eastern has set new season highs in hits and doubles. Their 2nd most runs scored. They scored 17 in a win over the University of Wisconsin Oshkosh. Picked up by Baldwin, thrown across, and Hugie is retired for the 2nd out. Brings up Joey Rogers, first time he's hit today. Joey in his last at bat hit a 2-run homer over the right field wall at Babson. First collegiate home run, just his second hit. Joey was the state tournament MVP last year at Dighton Rehoboth High School, where he led his team both on the mound and in the outfield to a state title. Has pitched better than he's hit this season. Earned his first collegiate win on Wednesday, going 6 innings against Roger Williams. Check swing, and it's 1-1 now. Rogers making his 19th appearance, just 2 for 21. Started 0 for 11, had a triple down in Florida, and then was 1 for 20 before his 2-run homer the other day. On the mound, 1-0 with a 2.40 ERA, 13 strikeouts and 5 walks in 3 starts. 2-1 pitch. Rogers has that one fouled off. He'll likely get a start midweek this week, possibly against Salem State. The Beacons go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You have to figure that Rogers will get a start, Burgos will get a start. And then the question is who gets the other 2. Beacons could use Kaufman, maybe Steve Witkowski, who has yet to stretch it out after being the starting pitcher in the All-Star game of the New York Collegiate Baseball League this summer. 2-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Herrera picks it up, throws down to first. We head to the 9th. Eastern still leading 15-6 here at Monin Park.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Beacons have a new pitcher on the mound. It's Anthony Pescara, one of just 2 lefties out of the Beacons pen, Pescara and Kyle Carvello. Pescaro's out of Chicago, Illinois. He listed as Hinsdale, but that's a suburb of Chicago, out of Hinsdale Central, 5'11", 155. He was one of the 7 pitchers the Beacons used against Babson on Thursday. On the season, making his 5th appearance, 3 innings of work, 2 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned, 4 strikeouts, 4 walks, 6.00 ERA. Opponents have hit just 182 against him. Try to get you an update on the other games going around the LEC in a moment. This is one of 4 game 1s going on right now. Of course, game 2 will start about 20 to 30 minutes after the conclusion of game number 1. Eastern led 8-0. After an inning and a half, the Beacons stormed back and cut it to 8-5 after 4, but then Eastern scored 4 unearned in the 6th, 3 more in the 7th to stretch the lead to 15-5. The Beacons got a run back against Nick Riscotti. We've got updates, 2 finals. UMass Dartmouth improves to 4-1 with a 3-0 win over Plymouth State. Keene State snaps a 7-game losing streak with a 9-1 home win over Western. Keene improves to 2-3, Western to 1-4. And in the big one right now, Southern Maine, the top team in the conference, 4-0. They're in a tight one, 7-6 lead over Rhode Island College in the bottom of the 8th. As the Beacons, with a presumed loss, would drop a game behind UMass Dartmouth and potentially 2 games behind Southern Maine, who they play in a home-and-home starting on Tuesday. They'll play at Southern Maine Tuesday and then home against the Huskies the following Tuesday. Eastern will take on the Western Connecticut State University Colonials on Tuesday. Be interesting to see who the Warriors pitch. They used Muchin today, who's just been so good this year. So moved to 3-2 despite allowing 5 earned in 6 innings. Pescara misses on his first pitch, working to the leadoff hitter, Corey Baldwin, who hits for the 6th time today here in game number 1. 1-0 pitch is on the outside corner, 1-1. Baldwin didn't love it. Eastern has had these top two pitchers in Muchin and the presumed Game 2 starter, Ron Bichette, but then their presumed number 1 or number 2, John Parker, who was phenomenal a season ago, has really struggled on the year, an ERA of 8.31 in 5 starts. Didn't even make it 3 innings in his last time out. 13 innings in 5 starts. That tells you a big part of the story. It's the 1-2 pitch up in around the head, 2-2. Piscaro struggling with the control on that one. Look at the other possible options in terms of starters. Ben Ruddick has started 4 games this year. He's 0-2 with a 9.95 ERA and 12 2/3. As the 2-2 here is fouled off down the left field line. We'll do it again. And then Ben Natick has made 2 starts, a 1-1 record, 6.48 ERA and 16 2/3. And those are the only 3 other guys to have started a game outside of Muchin and Bichette. They're 2 weekend starters. So Eastern's going to have to throw a guy in a conference game with an ERA of at least 6.48, if not higher, as there's another foul ball. And once again, it'll get out of play, this time over the netting on the left side and out of Monon Park. For the Beacons, they thought they went 5 deep in terms of starting pitching with Mantoni, Burgos, and Morin back from a year ago, but Morin going down with an injury. He would have started Game 2 otherwise, his first collegiate start against Eastern, but he's down with an oblique injury. That moves Matt Tully, the senior transfer who attended Virginia Tech for 2 years before spending a year at Division II Rollins College. And Fernando Burgos, the reigning Little East Conference Rookie of the Year, back to pitch midweek games where he dominated Southern Maine last season in a pair of wins. 2-2 pitch, breaking ball fouled off. Good little battle between a pair of first-year players. Baldwin in his sophomore season but did not play last year. Endicott transfer. And Piscaro, the freshman out of Illinois. Baldwin has reached twice, singled and scored in the first, and then reached on an error and scored in the 7th. In between that, flew out to left, grounded out to first, and grounded out to second. Takes that one inside, and the count runs full. Alex Carasoto's line is done. Carasoto came in on the 7th and retired all 5 batters he faced. An inning and 2/3, no hits, no runs, no earned, no walks, no strikeouts. So he's now gone 4 innings in the Beacons' last 2 games without giving up an earned run. Another pitch fouled off. Piscara, to the first batter he's faced alone, has already thrown 10 pitches. As it's a chance to get the freshman some work here in a conference game. 3-2 pitch, hit softly over to the second baseman, Brown. Fields, throws, and this time around he's able to get Baldwin after Brown bobbled the ball back in the 7th. This is the most pitchers the Beacons have used in a conference game this season. In fact, in the Beacons' first 2 conference doubleheaders at Dartmouth and at Rick, as it looks like Baldwin might be limping a little bit. Something to watch for the sophomore leadoff hitter and shortstop. Definitely hobbling a bit as he runs back to the Eastern dugout. The Beacons had used just 4 pitchers in both doubleheaders, 5 overall, as that one's flared over the head of Hughie, and Alexander White picks up his 3rd hit. He's 3 for 4 with a pair of walks and has had a phenomenal game number 1.
The center fielder, number 3, Alex Zachary.
White came into this game hitting .224, 13 of 58. He's likely to exit at 17 of 62 with a double, a homer, and 2 RBI. Not bad for the sophomore left fielder out of West Hartford. Piscara catches the outside corner working against Alex Zachary. Zachary has a pair of singles, pair of runs scored, a pair of stolen bases, as he's 2 for 4 in this one and also reached on an error. Ball is flared out to left field. Coming in on it is Herzog, and he can't make the play. Chance for the play at second, but he doesn't throw to second. He throws to the cutoff man. And now the question is whether it's a hit or an error. Going to go for an error on Herzog.
Number 25, Colin Russell.
2 aboard with just the 1 out. The second error on a Beacons left fielder, 1 on McCormick, 1 on Herzog, who started the game in right. And it'll bring up Ryan Hood, who came on as a pinch runner for Alex Parkos back in the 7th, his first plate appearance. Takes a fastball high. Rather, that's Colin Russell, who came on for the pinch runner. Russell, the junior third baseman out of Sandwich, Mass. Attended St. John Paul II. 5'11", 190. Ball is flared back 1-1. Russell hitting .310, his 15th appearance. 9 for 29 with 5 runs scored, 3 doubles, 4 RBI. As he gets a rare chance in a conference game. 2 on, 1 out, a single and an error. Eastern leads 15-6. 5 in the first, 3 in the second, 4 in the 6th, 3 more in the 7th. A lot of crooked numbers out there as the Beacons starting pitcher Dan Mantoni came in and gave up 8 earned in 2 innings of work. Scara breaking ball that breaks a bit too much, and it's 3-1 here to Russell with Pat Sorois on deck. Beacons pitching staff hasn't walked too many, just the 4. 2 from Mantoni, 2 from Kaufman, who gave up 7 runs, only 2 earned. As that one's inside, 5th walk of the day to go along with 16 hits and 3 errors and a hit by pitch. So Anthony Biscara has loaded the bases. Anthony Searles having a little conversation with this freshman left-handed pitcher. Nobody up in the Beacons pen. There is someone throwing the Eastern pen. If Riscotti were to come on and pitch his 3rd inning of work, he'd be in line for the save, despite the fact he came on with the game at a 15-5 score and had a chance to close it out in the 7th, but gave up an earned run as the first pitch to Sorois is on the outside corner. Sorois had 3 RBI and 2 hits in his first 2 at-bats. A single and a run scored in the first, a 2-run double in the second. Since then, he's calmed down a bit. A inning-ending double play, a ground ball to first in the 4th. A walk stranded at 3rd in the 6th. Actually, he scored in the 6th, so give him 2 runs, and a fly out to left in the 7th. Bases loaded here, 1-1, hits it to short, chance for 2, 6, 4, 3. Sorois has 3 RBI and a pair of grounded into double plays. We head to the bottom of the 9th. The Beacons need 9 to tie, 10 to win. We'll see what happens as UMass Boston will need to more than double their run total if they're going to create some theatrics.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools is the fact that a large percentage of students commute. For me, it takes 2 hours each day to go to and from school, but every second has been worth it because the students that come here are serious about learning, they value their education, and understand where it'll take them in the future. This is what UMass Boston means to me.
Designated hitter number 7, Dan Mantoni.
Dan Mantoni, the Beacons starting pitcher and DH. Stepping up to the plate to start off the 9th inning, Mantoni is 0 for 2. Strikeout swinging at a fly out to center, has a pair of walks, and scored the Beacon's 6th run of the game that extended the game back in the 7th. Mantoni even the count at 1-1, looking to extend his 8-game hitting streak. Kyle Boudris with the single back in the 7th extended his hitting streak to 12. Chris Fowler extended his hitting streak to 16 with a homer in the 4th. 1-2 to Mantoni, who is yet to swing in this at-bat. Would take his first conference loss of the year. That one tailing off the corner. Mantoni asking the same question, and he's down on strikes for the second time today. As Mantoni's asking, why didn't I get that call when I was pitching? Mantoni, the likely loser in this game. He would fall to 2-1, all 3 decisions in conference as Boudris takes the first pitch. Ball tailing in on the hands for ball 1. Muchin looking to move to 3-2 and 2-1 in conference play after a no-hitter in the opener. 13 strikeout, 7-inning win. Boudris ahead in the count 2-0. He's 1 for 3. Also has a walk. 2-0 pitch to Kyle. That one's high. 3-0. Riscotti in for his 3rd inning of work. Came on in the 7th, allowed 2 singles and a walk and a run scored. 1, 2, 3, 8th. Has struck out 3, looking for his 3rd save of the year. 3-0 pitch. That one's in there, 3-1. Remember, folks, Game 2 will start in approximately 20 to 30 minutes after the conclusion of game number 1. We'll have the broadcast for you here on the Beacons Broadcast Network and LittleEast.tv. That one's too far inside, and it's the second walk that Riscotti has issued. Bring up Chris Fowler. You'll have to exit out of the current broadcast link and then open up the Game 2 broadcast link set for 3 o'clock. Today's Game 2 will certainly start after 2 o'clock because it's already 2:50. Got a pinch runner over there at first base. Eddie Riley, the junior out of Quincy, will replace Boudris, who had a decent day, reached 3 times, had a single in 3 official at-bats, walked twice, and played strong defense on the day. The Beacons have committed 3 errors after just committing 6 in their past 5 games. Chris Fowler steps in. He will take that pitch up and in. Fowler has lined out to first twice, homered over the left field wall, and flew out to left center his last time up. Looking for his second hit. Came in second on the Beacons with a .314 average. That pitch on the outside corner, 1-1. Boudris, who came in tied for 4th in the conference, hitting .414, will see his batting average drop as he went 1 for 3, but he reached 3 times in 5 trips. So an on-base percentage of .461 will go up, and Fowler's going to up the batting average there at 2 bouts to the wall. Fowler's going to take 2, and Eddie Riley is going to come in to score on Chris Fowler's 6th double of the year. He's got 20 RBI, and the Beacons have cut it to 15-7. So Eddie Riley, pinch runner comes in, and now Nick Herzog will take a seat for the conclusion of this game. It's Lionel Danielson, the Beacons' everyday right fielder a year ago, has come off the bench for the most part this season. Danielson making his 17th appearance, just 3 starts. 2 for 14 on the year with 6 runs and 2 RBI. The native of St. Croix, Virgin Islands. First pitch to Lionel is on the inside corner. Danielson looks it, gives him a bemused look. Richard Cacciatore Jr. has done a pretty good job at the plate, but there have certainly been some questionable calls on both sides. 0-1 pitch, a check swing. It's 0-2 as Riscotti's gotten himself ahead in the count. Lionel spent a year at Bunker Hill Community College and a year at Fisher College before coming to the Beacons. He's got Chris Fowler out there at second after the RBI double cut it to 15-7. Danielson pops that one up, tailing foul, going over to try to make the play. Scavone's not going to get there. It hits the red turf that denotes foul territory down the right and left field lines. And Danielson and the Beacons still have life with one out here in the bottom of the ninth. My name is Seth Dorensky, bringing you all the action. Partner Jose Pena was supposed to get here around 2, but he got stuck at work. So it's probably going to be a solo job here from Monin as Danielson fouls off another one. Scotty, 0-2 pitch, bounces up there. No advance from Fowler, who's not one of the quicker players on the Beacons, and really no reason to potentially run into an out here. Down by 8. Beacons 1 in the third, 4 in the fourth, 1 in the seventh, 1 in the ninth. As that one bounces up there again, Herrera with the stop. Eastern scored 5 in the first to take the lead, 3 more in the second, 4 in the sixth to extend what was an 8-5 lead to 12-5, 3 in the seventh to push it to 15-5, and have been quiet the last 2 half innings. 2-2 pitch. Danielson thought about it, holds up, and Jeff January agrees with me. Count runs full. Danny Brown awaits in the on-deck circle. See the Beacons make any changes in between games. Matt Tully will start as the 3-2 pitch. That one's on the outside half. A little bit close in the pitch to Mantoni, and Riscotti picks up another strikeout. He has 4 in 2 2/3, and he's 1 out away from getting out of this game. Danny Brown steps up to the plate for the 5th time today. Walked once, singled twice, has an RBI. He's 2 for 3. Grounded out to first his first at bat. Walked and scored in the 4th, also had a stolen base. Singled and stole a base in the 6th, and had an RBI single in the 7th to extend this game. He's ahead 2-0. See if Brown can keep this game going at least one more batter with Anthony Searles in the on-deck circle. 2-0 pitch. Beautiful breaking ball on the inside half, 2-1. We expect it to be Ron Bichetto for Eastern, as he went last week, pitched effectively against Southern Maine in a loss. John Parker was roughed up in Game 2 against Plymouth State a little bit. So his team blew a 7-3 lead in the 9th, gave up 13 runs, but the Beacons don't look like they're going to do the same. Swing and a miss. Brown goes down swinging. Riscotti the save. Muchin the win. And Eastern using the bats, their 2nd most runs of the season, their most hits, their most doubles, and they earn a big victory to snap a 3-game conference losing streak. They improved to 2-3 in conference, 12-8 overall. The Beacons snap a 5-game winning streak. They fall to 15-8, 3-2. As UMass Boston can't dig themselves out of an early hole. Eastern scored 8 runs in the first inning and a half, and the Beacons fall 15-5. Take a look at the final box score. Eastern 15 runs, 16 hits, 6 of them doubles, and 1 home run, 1 error. The Beacons 7 runs on 9 hits and 3 errors. Take a look right now at our production crew doing all the heavy lifting here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. My name is Seth Dorensky, your producer and play-by-play guy. Your directors are Rachel Maslak. That's actually the old production crew from a game a couple weeks ago. Here we get the right one. Rachel Maslak and Julia Murphy, your directors. Rachel also helping out on instant replay. Jose Pena was supposed to be doing color commentary. Hasn't quite gotten here yet. Josh Ruffin, Eileen Shee, and Sarah Alenardo out in the sun doing the camera work, providing you with all the pictures. That'll do it for Game 1. Eastern wins 15-7. We'll take a break, and be back in about 20 to 25 minutes on a different broadcast link, ladies and gentlemen. You'll have to exit out of this one, go to the other one. We'll recap Game 1 and bring you Game 2 in about 20 to 25 minutes here on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Eastern Connecticut State took the first one 15-7, improving to 12-8 on the season, 2-3 in conference play. With the loss, the Beacons had their 5-game winning streak snapped. They fall to 15-8. 3-2 overall in conference play. We'll take a look at some of the big notes to know about that first game. Eastern setting a season high for hits with 16 and doubles with 6. They also tacked on a home run, so 7 extra base hits of their 16. They scored 8 runs in the first 2 innings, added 7 more in the 6th and the 7th, led 15-5 after 7. The Beacons got 1 back in the 7th and 1 in the 9th. Dan Mantoni, his worst start of the season, allowing 8 runs on 8 hits in just 2 innings of work. Chris Fowler, 2 for 5 with 2 RBI, a homer and a double, extending his hit streak to 16 games. Take a look at the other games. We've got a final from every Game 1, and we can keep you updated on what's going on in the LEC. Keene State winning at home 9-1 over Western Connecticut State. Southern Maine earning a 13-6 win, as that one was very close in the 8th, but Southern Maine tacked on 6 runs in the 8th and 9th to earn a 13-6 win. UMass Dartmouth a 3-0 shutout win in Game 1 against Plymouth State. Bring you the updated LEC standings. Southern Maine now at 5-0. They've got a 1-game lead on UMass Dartmouth, who's at 4-1. UMass Boston sits in 3rd at 3-2. Then you've got 3 teams at 2-3. Plymouth, Eastern, and Keene State, and Western and Rhode Island College should both be at 1-4. That's my fault for not updating Rhode Island College there. But 1 team at 5-0, 2 at 1-4. 6 teams of the 8 get in, and right now the Beacons need a win in Game 2 if they want to potentially win their 2nd straight regular season crown, already sitting 2 games behind Southern Maine through the first 5 conference games. The Beacons host Southern Maine 2 Tuesdays from now. They're at Southern Maine this upcoming Tuesday. So we'll start to look at this particular contest. And first, the starting lineup for Eastern Connecticut State. Only a few changes, both teams making a few defensive changes. Corey Baldwin, the shortstop, will hit first. Baldwin in game number 1, 1 for 6 with 2 runs scored. Alexander White, all of these batting averages are from after Thursday's play. We didn't have time to update them. So White's a guy who certainly will see his batting average go up a little bit. 3 for 4 with 3 runs scored and 2 RBI in game 1. Alex Zachary, the center fielder, 2 for 6 in game 1 with 3 runs and an RBI. Alex Parkos, the cleanup hitter and third baseman, went 2 for 4 with the run scored and 2 RBI. Pat Soroyce in right field, 2 for 5, 2 runs and 3 RBI. John Masagno, the DH, 2 for 5 with 2 runs and an RBI. DJ Scavone, the first baseman, 2 for 5 with 2 RBI. And the changes come at 8 and 9. William Coleman is in there at second base in favor of Christian Budzik. Coleman, a guy we didn't see much of in game 1, came on as a pinch runner and then was taken out of the game. Sophomore second baseman out of Northford, Connecticut. And finally, Merlin Herrera came on as a defensive replacement for Jake Lefebvre, finishing 1 for 3 with the run scored. We'll bring you the Beacons' defensive alignment really quickly before we show you the Beacons' starting pitcher. Only a couple changes. Nick Herzog moves from right to left, Danny Brown from second to right, and Josh Lopez, after missing the last 6, will start at second base as he comes back from an injury. And now a look at the Beacons starting pitcher. It's Matt Tully, the senior transfer, former ESPN Mr. Massachusetts. Tully out of Lowell, Mass, attended Virginia Tech for a pair of seasons. Rollins College, a D2 powerhouse down in Florida for 1 year. Did not play last year due to an injury. And now a Beacon, as he attends the same school as his younger sister, a sophomore on the Beacons softball team. Tully, as we try to get you the right graphic up there, making his second conference start, started last week at Rhode Island College, struggled with his control, came out in the 5th, and then the Beacons came back to earn a 7-4 win thanks to 4 runs in the top of the 9th. Tully's numbers on the year: 2-2, making his 4th start, 7th appearance, 3.38 ERA, 21 1/3 innings, 18 hits, 11 runs, 8 earned, 25 strikeouts, which is good for second on the team third on the team, behind only Burgos and Mantoni. But he does have 16 walks. Walks have been an issue, 4 doubles allowed, opponents hitting .225